9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Tune in.
This is your Friday Night Lights podcast, photo and entertainment in Middle Georgia sales and services. Coke, don't worry about Pepsi.
I had to go see a man about a music.
Look at here, look at here.
A-Town down.
And you better not lose.
Tune in.
Not so fast, my friend.
You better say it with your chest.
Come on now, shout it.
And you better not lose.
Hey, you better watch your mouth now.
I am a Lego.
Better shut your mouth.
Yes, I am. I don't mean to interrupt.
Better say it with your chest.
Let's get it.
And you better not lose.
Good evening, everybody. What's happening, people?
What's good? What's good?
Good evening, podcast family and watchers.
Welcome to the Wednesday night edition of the Friday Night Lights podcast show. We have on our panel today our good sis, Kira. Say hello.
Hey, it's the Feisty Bulldog checking in.
We have Thirsty B.S. Rollins.
I got my law degree from DeVry University.
Okay.
Don't forget to Esquire after my name.
I do apologize, Thirsty. I do apologize. But I was just so excited to get to the next introduction, guys. We have Drew on tonight, and he's gonna talk to us. I don't know if you all knew. You looked in the group and you saw those hot takes. Well, he's here to expound on those tonight. So we are so excited to have him. He has an Instagram page. You all follow his predictions, and I mean they're awesome and they're spot on. So we welcome him tonight.
Thank you for having me so much. I'm great to be here. It's great to be here.
All right. And of course, I'm your girl Jess. So we're gonna get started. We're gonna say hello to everybody in the comments really quick. What's going on, Obadiah? First, as usual, welcome. Hey there, Jeremy. What's going on, Jamie? Colquitt here. What kind of mess you got for me tonight? We will see. How you doing, J-Bo? How you doing, Marco? Welcome. And my buddy Tick, how you doing tonight? Welcome.
I'm glad to see y'all checking in today. We got Marco Polo here today.
Yeah, we got Gary Gaines, Thompson Bulldog in the house. Welcome.
What y'all say down there? Bite down?
No, they do not. That's Thomasville. How it bites down. Definitely not Thompson.
Oh! I just saw Bulldog. My bad, y'all. Hey, as we've already been told on here, y'all better watch out for Laney and Josie. That was a joke. That was a joke, Thompson Bulldogs fans. That was a joke.
What's going on, Paris? How you doing? What's going on, D? You follow his Instagram. Good. What's going on, Kenneth? You checking in on your off week? Marco says my War Eagle chilling on the bye week at 7-0. Okay.
They bet not lose that week. That's all I can say.
Bet not lose. No, Jeremy. Bite down comes from Thomasville, not Thompson.
Show me facts and I respect it. Until then, stay out of our business. Little Applejack.
Hold on. I want to back up one. I want to back to who was that? Marco. Hey Drew, what's your favorite saying on your IG when you ask about games and somebody posts about the bye week?
Bye week always wins. You know that. Undefeated, never lost.
There you go.
There's a reasoning behind that, I guess. I think the reasoning behind that is bye weeks are ideally where you want your team to grow the most, but a lot of teams end up flaming out. Just look at the Miami Hurricanes. How did that go? So following their bye week. So I think I always say bye week wins because if you can truly beat, it's the hardest challenge you have to climb because there's no opponent you have to face, but you still have to keep getting better.
Roscoe is checking in from County. How you doing? But Marco says they're finna crush the bye week 100-0.
Good luck.
Yeah, really. Good luck with that.
Good luck. Good luck. But yeah, Drew, thanks for coming on, man. We missed you. As always, we love having you on here. So, as I was telling you earlier backstage, I posted your hot take, obviously giving you credit as due because you do come up with great content on your IG page, and we do greatly appreciate it. Um, it made some buzz today, man, and a lot of folks are like, how or where are these coming from? So
Well,
I'm gonna give
there,
you a chance to explain yourself on this so the viewers can understand. While you're explaining yourself, I'm going to be showing your stuff on the screen while you're talking. Okay?
And
yep,
we
sounds
can
good to
go
me.
down one by one. Let's start on the left. First is Troup County will reach the 4A semifinals despite losing Tail Todd for this season due to injury.
Right. So the first thing before we start, I think a lot of people actually don't know what a hot take is. So a hot take isn't just like a normal take. A normal take would be like, TC Central will win their next game. That's a normal take. Now, hot takes are something that's very controversial on purpose. So the content I post is not controversial. Like I don't make it controversial, but this one is specifically for that purpose because this is something I actually, if you followed my account, you saw in my story the day before, I asked everybody else, what are their hot takes? So now it's my turn to give mine. And so hot takes are risky. They're not supposed to happen. It would be shocking if it happens. The way I describe it is if I give you one of these takes and you are like, no, that can't be right. But the more you think about it, you're like, okay, I could see this happening. That's what a hot take is in reality. Mm-hmm. So starting off at the top left, Troup County will reach the 4A semifinals despite losing Teo Todd. So for those who don't know, Teo Todd is really good at football. He accounted for over 4,000 yards of total offense for the Tigers last year, over 2,000 in the air and over 2,000 on the ground. Now, they lost him to injury a couple games ago, right before the Stars Mill game. Now, they actually lost to Stars Mill 20-18 due to this injury. But since then, they've been on fire beating North Clayton and Riverdale. But that's not saying much. Those aren't really two great teams at the time. So it is a hot take to say that Troup County will still be at the same level despite losing a guy who had 4,000 yards of production last year. Why is that? Well, you also have a lot of other talent on that team like Quay Birdsong. And the more I look at the bracket now, if I check out Troup County, they are in Region 4A. So if assuming they somehow win their region, they'll have to face Region 2, Region 3, the second and third place teams, which is a challenge, but I don't think it's that bad. And then they have to face Region 7's top-ranked team. Now, I don't know if they'd be favored in that. I need to actually look right now. I forgot who the Region 7 Team 1 is. But that's an upset. So if they can upset that team and reach the semifinals, that's why it's a hot take. I think the way Troup County is playing right now, despite not having Teo Todd, they can still make the second or maybe even quarterfinals. But to reach the semifinals, that's an extra step, an extra hurdle. So that's, especially without Teo Todd, could be a hot take.
Okay. I'm hoping people are starting to understand now where you're coming from.
It'll make more sense as we go through it. You'll start to see patterns emerge. So, for example, the second one, those in 2A might remember Toombs County just beat Appling County. To me, pretty big upset. I thought that was a pretty big upset. I didn't have Toombs County ranked in my top 10, and before the game, now obviously, and I stand by that decision because they didn't have any quality wins up till then. I mean, they beat Long County by 7, so I had to take it with a grain of salt. But now that they've won, all the attention is on them. Now, next up, it's not easy, but they've got Pierce County, another team that is on similar levels to Appling. And so my hot take here is, and a lot of people still think Pierce is going to win this game because it's a fluke. They beat Appling. And I personally think Pierce County will beat Toombs County. So the hot take here is that Toombs County will beat Pierce County and win the region because, well, the rest of the teams in that region aren't great, but they'll fall in the second round to Worth County. This one is oddly specific. Now, why is it oddly specific? I chose the second round on purpose because the second round is where most of the high-ranking upsets will occur. Now, if you throw this back to a year or two ago, you'll notice that Monroe area beat Oconee County, and I didn't rank Monroe area in my top 3. Meanwhile, a lot of people had Monroe area number 1. And what did Monroe area end up doing? Losing in the they lost in the second round. So I think a lot of other ranking services tend to overrank or overrate a team because of one win. And I think that's something that could happen if Toombs County beats Pierce County. You could see them vault all the way to number 1 and maybe hold firm. So I think if they fall in the second round, they'll end up playing the number 3 team from Region 1 or the number 2 team from Region 4. And I think in that 3 team from Region 1 spot, you have Worth County, because that's a very deep region. So I could see a team like Worth County with their offense being able to upset an unsuspecting Toombs County that thinks they're safe after beating both Appling and Pierce.
So Drew, Jeremy says, Drew, I'm telling you, Toombs ain't that good. Appling beat themselves for real.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. But at the end of the day, the score is that Toombs won the game. Like I said earlier, I'm still picking Pierce County to beat Toombs County. So these hot takes are hot for a reason. They're not what I actually think will happen. What I actually think will happen is Pierce County beats Toombs County. What I actually think will happen is on the other side, Aaron Philo will break Trevor Lawrence's state record. So hot takes are meant to incite conversation. This is you will know who I pick in about 5 hours when I do my suggest a matchup. I'll pick my winner. So I don't think these will actually happen, and it will be crazy. It would actually be borderline unheard of if even half of these come true. But that's the point of a hot take. It's what's unexpected.
Yeah, and I get you. And you're right. It is a conversation because it did spark conversation today when we posted it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Cameron Lloyd. I can't pronounce his last name.
Yeah, Lloyd. So Cameron. So here's the thing about Cameron. Entering this offseason, I created my list of top 10 receivers, and he was 11th. And obviously people took exception to that, but and looking back, maybe I could have added him into my top 10 then, but this guy's really good. A lot of people don't realize Cam Lloyd is 5'4". He's 5'4", but he is extremely fast, and he poses a matchup. He's a matchup nightmare out of the slot, and that's how Walton's been using him to the tune of 119 yards per game receiving. Now, he is not even close to leading the state in receiving right now. The state's leading receiver is Ahmed Suare out of Loganville at 1,100 yards. Cam Lloyd sits at 670. So immediately you start to think, okay, how is Cam Lloyd going to make up this many yards by the end of the year? He's almost down the current amount of yards, 600, to the first place guy. Well, if you look at the top 3, the number 1 player plays for Loganville. The number 2 plays for North Murray. And I forget what the number 3 and number 4 play for. Those teams aren't ones that'll make it to the state championship, in all honesty. North Murray is not making it to the state championship. Loganville's not making it to the state championship. But Walton, with their explosive offense, has a very good chance of making it to the state championship. So when you start to consider points per game, if you end up doing the math and you do 15, which is the number of games it takes you to reach the state championship, 15 times 119 yards per game is going to end up being more than Ahmed Suare's Loganville number, which is 136 yards per game, times maybe 11 or 12. So when you do the math, at the surface, you look at this like, well, he has half the yards as Ahmed Suare right now. How is he going to surpass him? Well, if you do the math, statistically, there's a chance. So the hot take here isn't only that he will lead the state in receiving yards. The second hot take is that that team, Walton, will make it to the state championship as well. Because without that happening, there's no way Cam Lloyd hits the required total of about 1,600 yards.
Roscoe has a comment, Drew. He says, I've heard
about Tyreek.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think first of all, it's really hard to compare somebody to Coffee's very own Tyreek Hill. But the way he can outrace defenders is pretty much the same. He is the high school version of Tyreek Hill. I've seen him lagging 5 or 10 yards behind a defender and then just get the corner and shoot down the sideline, and he beats him by 20 yards by the time he's in the end zone. So Lloyd is pretty much unstoppable in man coverage. You're going to have to play zone against Walton if you want to have any chance at stopping, or not even stopping, slowing down that team.
Okay. Man. So, Lumpkin
overwhelmed
County.
Yet?
you saying Lumpkin County will end the regular season as a top 5 ranked team in 3A.
Yeah. So
That is a bold hot take.
that is very bold, and that's the point. You want to be bold. So the thing with this is, if you look at now, again, when I say ranked or whatever, that's using my rankings. Obviously, I don't know what AJC's. I actually don't pay attention to what like the AJC and all do. I just don't. So going off of my rankings right now, I have Lumpkin County in 3A. They're the 7th ranked team in 3A. So it's easy now. You can say, well, it doesn't seem like such a hot take now because 5 is only 2 spots away from 7. But consider who's in that top 5. That top 5 is Calvary Day, Cedar Grove, Stevens County, Mary Persons, and Sandy Creek, with Savannah Christian right behind them. So the reason this is bold is the only way Lumpkin County gets in is if they avoid an upset for the rest of the regular season. Keep in mind, I said they will end the regular season as a top 5 team. They avoid an upset, and Savannah Christian or Sandy Creek or something happens where a top 5 or top 6 team loses. Now, is this possible? Theoretically, yes, it is. Cedar Grove has to play Sandy Creek. So that is possible. Mary Persons. Now, here's the one that I think a lot of people may not be focusing on. Mary Persons is really good right now at football, 6-1. But they have a game this Friday at home against Peach County. Now, you know how Peach County season's been going, not great. However, under Marquise Westbrook, can you truly rule them out? They just beat Carver Atlanta by 18 in a neutral venue. 18. And they've been battle tested all year, having played Northside, Perry. So if there was a game where Peach County could pull off an upset, it could be Mary Persons. And that would go down in the books as an unranked loss for Mary Persons, since Peach County's not ranked. So that would drop Mary Persons. If Cedar Grove beats Sandy Creek, that would drop Sandy Creek. And, well, lo and behold, number 1, Calvary Day. Number 2, Cedar Grove. Number 3, Stevens County. Number 4, Savannah Christian. And number 5, Lumpkin County. So there's your hot take with that, and that's how that could possibly happen.
Okay.
Great. I love your theory, your process of thinking on that. But Mary Persons gonna take at least one loss to either. They're gonna take at least one loss in the stretch of these remaining region games.
They have Peach County, and
Upson Lee. They're gonna beat Pike.
Pike is bad. Pike is really bad.
Yeah, they're gonna split Peach and Upson Lee. One is gonna win, and they're gonna.
I think they are on upset alert against Peach, but I think they take ups and downs.
I can ride with you on that one for sure.
All
right, hold on. Let me put it back up. There we go. What was the last? The last one on that column is. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I was gonna tell Rodney and Collins, apparently something up here is offending them with regard to Coffee County. These are hot takes. This does not necessarily mean this is what he believes. These are just hot takes.
Correct. Like, for example, Coffee. I'll tell you about Coffee. If there was ever a year for Coffee to win the state championship, it's this year. Don't mess that up, because this 5A is the weakest 5A I've seen in a long time. So if there was ever a chance for Coffee to win the state championship, it's this year.
All right. Now this one here, I can kind of see coming true. 3 teams from Region 8 AD1 will reach the semifinals.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Let me break this down in the way I think about it. Now, first of all, it's really crazy.
I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna help you out while you speak. All right. I'm gonna help you out while you speak, so the viewers can understand why you're coming up with this.
Okay. Perfect. So it's very bold for somebody to suggest that 3 teams from a 4-team region will make it to the semifinals in the 4 spots that are available. But why can I say this happening? Well, first of all, these are 3 good teams. Commerce, Elbert, and Raven are all ranked in the top 10. So we know they're good teams. They're maybe not excellent except Raven, but we could say that they're good. But that doesn't make a hot take. What makes a hot take in this scenario? Well, let's look at the bracket layout. These are all Region 8 teams. Now, let's assume, for example, that these Region 8 teams will win their first round game against their Region 5 opponents. Who is Region 5? Region 5 is Prince Avenue Christian and then absolutely nobody. It's Prince Avenue Christian, Social Circle, Jasper County, and Oglethorpe County. We can be honest there. Besides Prince Avenue Christian, there's nobody good in that region. So the way I see it, and Prince Avenue is going to be the number 1 seed. So naturally, they will take out the number 4 seed, Athens Christian. So Commerce, Elbert, and Rabun are still alive. And now I just told you how the number 2, 3, and 4 seed within Region 5 are so bad that I expect Region 8, Commerce, Elbert, and Rabun all to win their first round. That one, they'll be favored to win. Let's go to maybe the second round. In the second round, Region 5 ends up playing Region 6 and Region 7. The winner of Region 6 and Region 7. Those are 2 very weak regions. Region 6's best team is maybe Mount Vernon. Second is maybe St. Francis or Mount Pisgah. That's a bad region. Region 7, they have a good team in Tryon. So Tryon is a good team. But besides Tryon, there's maybe Pepperell, Coosa, Chattooga, Dade County. These are not good teams. So you move past the second round. Now you move to the quarterfinals. Quarterfinals are where it becomes really important because you run into the 1 seeds in other region. So for the top-ranked team in 5A, let's say Rabun County is the top-ranked team in 5N. They will run in, or in Region 5, they will run into, in the quarterfinals, the top-ranked team from Region 2. The top-ranked team in Region 2 is either going to be Bleckley County, Dublin, or Swainsboro. Now you're looking at a little bit of a conundrum here because if Rabun County has to face off against Swainsboro, that's going to be a really good game. But it is not an unwinnable game for Rabun. So I think at least we can say 50-50 odds, right? We can say 50-50 odds Rabun beats Swainsboro. So Rabun has a chance to make the state semifinals. What about the second-ranked team in Region 5? They have to play in the quarterfinals the Region 6's best team. Well, the Region 6's best team is probably going to be Mount Vernon. Honestly, the Region 8 team, whether it be Commerce or Elbert, will be favored over Mount Vernon. So they can definitely make the semifinals. Then let's look at the last one. The third-ranked team in Region 5. They will end up playing Region 4's top team, which is probably Lamar County, which is also a very winnable game. So that when you look at it a little deeper, there is a way for all 3 of these teams to end up in the Final Four.
Now, with what you just said, on Monday, we took the current region standings as they are and did a mock bracket, which is what is up on the screen right now, right? With what you just said, we projected two of those 3 teams to make it to the semifinal. The issue we had was the way the standings are now. Commerce will have to play Tryon in the second round.
Yeah, sorry, I think I misspoke on that part. So assume Commerce does play Tryon. Both are top 10 ranked teams, or should be at least, because they are in 9. Are you comfortable taking Tryon over Commerce when Tryon beat a Dade County team by 7? When Commerce, on the other hand, let me look up Commerce real quick. Commerce has a win over both Lincoln County, and they lost to Hebron Christian by 10. So I think this is a toss-up from where I sit.
And I'm with you. And like I say, we're going current standings ending on week 8.
Correct.
Okay, so we know the bracket is going to change week by week.
100%.
The seedings are going to change week by week. But as of the end of week 8, this is what we had now for the Final Four. Obviously, we got a toss-up between, we had a disagreement, a discussion between Swainsboro and PAC at this point because they're scheduled to meet in the quarterfinals.
PAC is the better team. Right now, it's not that close.
And I agree with you, but my brother on the panel, would disagree with you. But we're looking in the same direction. That Region 8 team is a strong team, is a strong region, and it is possible for 3 out of 3 of those teams to make it to the Final Four. It just depends on how the seedings fall out come week 13 of the season.
Yeah. So if you're you in your graphic here, you're comfortable having 2 Region 8 teams. Now it would be a hot take to say there would be 3 because of that bottom quadrant. So you can see how these hot takes tend to make a little bit more sense now.
Yeah, and I'm trying to help the viewers understand where you're coming from and how you're coming up with your hot take.
I'm throwing too many words out there.
No, you have a compliment here. Antonio says, I feel like I'm listening to Todd McShay.
Oh, that's the first time I've heard Todd McShay. Interesting. I'll take it.
And speaking of my brother, he has just showed up. Yo, welcome to the show. As a reminder, we got Drew on. Drew is going through his hot takes today. All right, he probably got a bad connection right now, but he's on. He's gonna get in when he can. Okay. Now this one here, which hold on, I got to do this real fast because I got to let the viewers understand who we're talking about on here.
This is going to be a good one. This is going to be a good one. I promise.
Hold on, give me a second. Let me get to the top of the page and pull up Region 7 and pull up Class 7 real fast so everybody can understand what region you're talking about because a lot of people may not understand the region. So the comment is no team from 7A will reach the quarterfinals. Okay. With that being said, please expound.
That's 3.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Now this is a bit tricky, isn't it? Because when you look at this region, there are 3 really top 10 teams in here. You've got Newton, who, of course, have been really impressive right now. And out of nowhere, it's kind of been, we've been waiting on this for like 4 or 5 years, and finally they break through. And then you have Parkview, and then you have Grayson. Now, Archer, Southwood, and Brookwood, they're not that great this year. So I don't see them doing too much in the playoffs. Now, it's really bold to say Newton, Parkview, and Grayson will find a way to lose in the first 2 rounds. But when you look at it a little closer, let's break it down. So let's take a look at if you take a look at the bracket real quick, the top-ranked team in Region 4 will play the 4th-ranked team in Region 1. Region 1 would be Camden County, Colquitt County, Lowndes, Valdosta, and Richmond Hill. Now, let's be safe here and assume that maybe Camden County or Lowndes ends up as the 4 seed and maybe Parkview ends up as the 1 seed. It's still a winnable game, but there's an upset potential. But let's track that number 1 team in Region 4. Assume they win their first round. Let's go to the second round, and they'll play Region 2's Team 3 or Region 3's Team 2. So in Region 2, your Team 3 is probably going to be East Coweta or Westlake. That is not an easy draw. As the number 1 seed in Region 4, your second round draw is East Coweta or Westlake. Or it's going to be the team from Region 3, the second-ranked team. But Region 3 is not that good. So it's probably going to end up being East Coweta or Westlake. Now, assume you're looking at football and you see Parkview. Can you say with 100% confidence that Parkview beats Camden County or Lowndes in the first round and then beats East Coweta or Westlake in the second round? I don't know. I don't know if that's possible. It looks like a very probable upset.
It don't even matter if it does because when they get to the quarterfinals, it's a brick wall right there waiting on them in either Buford or Mill Creek.
Yes, but
in the quarterfinals.
In my take, I said we'll reach the quarterfinals. So I have to take it a little step below that and say they won't even make it. So there's a little bit of a hot take there because in the sense that will Parkview get upset in the first 2 rounds? I don't know. But that's not the hot take doesn't end there because that's just the Team 1 in Region 4. Let's go to the second team. Let's say Newton is the second team out of Region 4. They're going to have to play in the first round the 3rd team from Region 1, which in this case is probably going to be Valdosta. Or let's not say Valdosta. Let's say Lowndes or Camden County again. Okay, so maybe Newton has to play Lowndes or Camden County. I think Camden County is a matchup mismatch, and I think Camden County could pull off an upset. But, let's say they win. Let's say they win and they advance to the second round, where they play Region 2's Team 4 or Region 3's Team 1. Region 3's Team 1 could probably be McEachern, or Region 2's Team 4 could be maybe like Campbell or Pebblebrook, which is not that good. So let's assume they'll play McEachern. Could McEachern and Newton have already played this year? They have already played, and it was 13-7. It was 13-7 in favor of Newton. Are you telling me that Newton's going to win by a lot more when we already know that it was a 6-point game? Granted, it was shortened by lightning, but the score still held up for majority of the game. So I don't know. You could see a possible upset by McEachern there in the second round. Now, the last case scenario is Grayson, the third team in Region 4. They will have to play the second ranked team in Region 1, which would be Valdosta. So, first of all, I don't know if you'd be wholly confident in Grayson being the favorite against Valdosta on the road at Valdosta, but assume they win that. Assume they win that, and they have to play in the second round. You know who their second round opponent would be? Carrollton. Good luck winning that game. So now it doesn't seem too improbable that all three teams from this region wouldn't reach the quarterfinals.
Okay. And I got, man, why we didn't think of doing this? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Why we didn't think about doing this? Okay.
It takes a decent bit of time to kind of figure all these out and piece them together in your head.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right. PAC quarterback Aaron Phillip will fall 200 yards short of Trevor Lawrence's state record for career passing yards.
Right.
Wow.
So Aaron Philo is actually, so he's a Georgia Tech commit, so I'm really happy about that. But he's since he was a freshman, he's been putting up like 3,000, 4,000 yards a season. So he's definitely on pace to break Trevor Lawrence's record. Now, if you do the math from here on out, he needs about 200 to 250 yards per game to this is assuming he wins the state or makes the state championship game for him to pass Trevor Lawrence. So you can see right there, Trevor Lawrence is at 13,902. And if you look, Aaron Philo's at 11,506. And that is actually updated to this week. So about 2,400 yards to go. And how many games do they have left? Let me take a look. Prince.
We're going into what, week 9?
So they've played 7.
At
so
least
that's
6.
3 plus 5. So
okay, they got
games.
8.
So maybe 3. It's averaging 300 yards a game basically for the rest of the way out in order to beat Trevor Lawrence. And that sounds like a lot, but with how much Prince Avenue Christian's Aaron Philo, they end up passing for 400 a game sometimes. So this is a little bit shocking because we're saying he's going to end up 200 whole yards short of Lawrence. Well, the only way this would happen is if Prince Avenue Christian loses before the state finals, or they play a team like Swainsboro that this year would be better at pass defense than they were last year. So there's 2 ways this happens. They either play really good defenses or they miss out on the state championship, both of which don't seem likely right now, which makes this a hot take.
So I am going to ask you a question because this is something we discussed over the summer in reference to career passing yards. Do you think Juju, I'm trying to find him on the list.
Yes, the answer is yes. Yep.
Okay.
But here's the thing. I wouldn't be so confident he plays in Georgia all 4 years.
You really think he's going to make that move?
Yeah, he's committed to USC. We definitely wouldn't be surprised to see him move to Mater Dei.
That would suck, man, if he did that.
It would suck. It's great for our state to have this level of talent, but kind of what like Dylan Raiola did, lived out in Arizona, committed to UGA, decided to play his senior year in Georgia. So I could definitely see after Elijah Brown graduates from Mater Dei, I could definitely see Juju Lewis moving to Cali and Santa Ana and playing for Mater Dei before he goes on to USC.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that rumor. I'm hoping it's not true.
I hope so too. I've heard the same thing.
You said the winner of the Lee County TC Central matchup will be the 6A state champion.
Yeah, this one doesn't take any bracketology or anything like that. Lee County and Thomas County Central right now are my number 1 and number 3 teams ranked in 6A. This is honestly less of a hot take because whereas the winner of this game is very likely to be number 1 in 6A entering the playoffs. Now all that's got to happen is they've got to survive body blows from Gainesville, Hughes, Houston County, Douglas County. Like they've got to survive these body blows, and if they can do that, they'll be the state champion. But the reason this is a hot take is because we know how unpredictable the state playoffs can be. This isn't California or Texas or New Jersey or Ohio, where every year you can walk in and say, well, X team is going to win the state championship every single year. And it's just not going to be that way because you look at the past 6A champions. You had Langston Hughes in 2022, Buford in 21. Was it Buford again in 2020? I think it was. Yeah, over Lee County. 2019, it was a different team. So, or was it? No, it was Buford. So now that Buford's moved on to 7A, that leaves a whole void out here. And Langston Hughes stepped up and filled that void last year. But every year now with Hughes has lost 2 times already to Butler and to Douglas County. So are we confident that they will win? But we can't say with certainty that the winner of Lee County TC Central will be the state champion. It is a hot take to assume that that one of those teams will be because of how many grenades are in the way of getting to that trophy.
Yeah, I know for us, when we took the brackets into consideration, our thing was, and I'm finna put the brackets up on the screen for you. I want to say it was I think we said the number 2 team out of that region had the easier path to a state title game, which currently Lee sits in second place.
Yeah, look at that, Pat. They've got Effingham County. Seriously? Okay. All right.
Well, based on current standings as of last Friday, you know.
I just don't like that. No, that's just me picking an issue with the way that bracket is laid out every year. That's not with you guys. No.
Yeah, but Team 2 has the easiest path to a state title game, given, obviously the semifinals is going to be their biggest hurdle. If everything stands true, Gainesville takes Region 8. They're going to end up playing Gainesville in the semifinals, and that's going to be their biggest hurdle.
Yeah, I think when you look at, so right now you have the winner of Thomas County Central in the place of Thomas County. So let's hypothetically assume Thomas County Central wins that game. They'll be in the bottom of the bracket, as you pointed out, and this is why it's a hot take. They got to run into Langston Hughes. Okay, that's a tough draw in the quarterfinals.
Exactly.
And then you beat Langston Hughes, and who did they play after that from the top?
Langston Hughes. They will probably end up playing Roswell.
They played Roswell. Well, TC Central played Roswell last year, and Roswell won the game 42-34. So that's going to be rough. And then you get to the state championship, and maybe you have to rematch a Lee County team and Usman Chroma, who are very pissed off that you beat them last time. So it's not a gimme here to say that the winner of Lee County Hughes will win the state championship.
Right. We just know Team 1 will have a harder path than Team 2. So at the end of the day, all right. I got to hear this one. Cartersville loses to Hiram by at least 17 points. I just want to know, where you hanging out in Midtown so I can tell my son where not to hang out at.
Well, so the reasoning behind this, again, let's the first thing we have to do is start to disassociate names and reputations. So we immediately hear Cartersville and we think, dang, this is like the 2021, 2020, 2022 Cartersville that's going to drop 50 on you a game, absolutely destroy you, and their one kryptonite is Warner Robins. That's not going to prove true this year. Warner Robins isn't that good. And honestly, so is Cartersville. When you look at these results, they beat Cherokee by 13. They beat Jonesboro by 11. They beat Calhoun by 4, which is a great win. And then they followed that up with an absolute stinker against Cass, which they somehow managed to win in overtime. I watched that Cass game, and despite all the commentators' hype of it, it was a terrible game. I'm sorry. It was a bad game. Cass had 2 options. One with Devin Henderson past to Sokovie White. And when Devin Henderson went down, they could not move the ball. And then Cartersville just kept repeatedly shooting themselves in the foot. So Cartersville looks very shaky. They don't look great. Now, Hiram, on the other hand, doesn't have a defense. And I mean that with as much respect as possible, but it's hard to give that respect when you're allowing 49 to East Paulding, 39 to Dalton, and 56 to Calhoun. So what gives in this matchup? Well, the one thing I've seen from Hiram's office is no matter how hard the team they play is, like Calhoun's defense is pretty good. They gave up 17 to Blessed Trinity and 21 to Cartersville. No matter how good the defense is, Hiram's offense is always capable of putting up at least 35 points in a game. This is because they have so much talent on that team. They have Jamison Riggs, 4-star O-lineman committed to Georgia Tech. They have Walter Matthews, the consensus number 1 tight end in the nation, committed to USC. And they also have Chase Tyler, wide receiver and cornerback, committed to Duke. This is a very talented team, but their offense is very capable of putting up points. Now, could you say the same for a Cartersville team that only put up 27 against Cherokee, 24 against Jonesboro, 21 against Calhoun and Cass? The way I see it, this could be a mismatch where Cartersville simply just can't score enough, no matter how bad Hiram's defense is. And Hiram can put up, say, 38, 40 points, and Cartersville tops out at 24, 27 like they've always been doing. Now, when you look at that margin of victory now looks like 16 or 17, which is where you settle on Cartersville loses to Hiram by at least 17 points.
Well, that leads credence to what you said earlier about Coffee County, and if this is the year for them to do it if they're going to do it.
Yeah, definitely, because I mean, the reason I say that is, come on, let's look at 5A. You look at Creekside. Honestly, Creekside's defense has taken a step back. It's like, the thing with Creekside is their defense has been really, really, really good. Probably the best in the classification behind Ware County last year. But the thing with that is their offense couldn't move a rock. But this year, their offense can actually move the ball, but now their defense has taken a step back. So it's like a trade-off. So Creekside isn't all that. Ware County is good, but again, not all that. They beat a 3A Appling County team by 4. They lost, and they also lost to Bainbridge. So Coffee is undefeated. Coffee is good, but they're also, what people don't realize, they're still beating the teams Ware County beat by the same margin of victory, like Richmond Hill. But they've also got a win over Bainbridge. So again, little muddier waters. Coffee doesn't have the same strength of schedule. Cartersville, as we just talked about, isn't all that. Jefferson hasn't even proven they can get past the first round with Sammy Jefferson or Malachi Starks, who's now at Georgia. Calhoun, they've got Amari Winston at tight end, but they're a run-focused team. They will run the ball with Caden Williams, but that has also proven to be their downfall, as we saw against Blessed Trinity. Kel, zero strength of schedule, absolutely zero, and their defense can be a liability sometimes. We're not even going to worry about the other teams like Jones County, Hiram, and Warner Robins because, frankly, they're not going to win the state championship.
Okay. Let me see. Your last comment. Both Jones County and Peach County will reach the quarterfinals.
Aha. So now, we're back to a playoff bracket.
Hold on. Before you get into this, I can only speak on Peach on this one. In my opinion, if Peach County takes either first or third, that can come true.
Do you have?
But I'm gonna let you get on.
No. My question, I just have. Do you have your mock 5A bracket that you did?
Yeah. I got both the 3A and the 5A. I got them ready to go for you.
All right, 3A. Let's start with 3A since that up. I really don't want to go through all the scenarios looking at a blank bracket right now, so I'll just look at what you have on the screen.
Yeah, because this, again, based off of week 8 standing.
So where is Peach County on this? There they are. So you said
Region as team 3.
Third-ranked team. All right. So let's take it from there. Let's assume they're the third-ranked team, which means they would lose to Mary Persons. They would have to play Savannah Christian in the first round. But a lot of people are high on Savannah Christian, and rightfully so. But the thing with Savannah Christian is their offense can start to stutter when they play better opponents, regardless of how good that opponent's defense is. And they also can't finish games. Marist, they were in a battle with Marist. They were in a battle with Calvary Day. And both in the second half, and namely the fourth quarter, the floodgates opened. So could Peach County end up beating Savannah Christian? Yeah, it's possible. They just beat Carver Atlanta in an upset. But what if Peach County upsets Mary Persons and they take that number 1 spot in region? So we jump to where Mary Persons is on the left side of the bracket. Now you got to play Long County. That's a win. Now you got to play Monroe or Hepzibah. Monroe's a good team, but can they beat a Peach County team that has now wins over Carver Atlanta and Mary Persons and Upson Lee? Oh, I don't know.
I doubt it.
So
we doubt it.
Go. Peach County, pencil them into the quarterfinals.
And same thing. Well, I was gonna say.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I'm not sure if I said 2 or 3, but I meant to say 1 or 2 in the region because if they took number 2 in the region, they would end up down here.
That's an easy route.
Exactly. If they took 1 or 2 in the region, they have an easy route.
So if they take 2 in region, they'll have to play Country Day. Country Day is not going to beat Peach County. And the second round game would be against Carver Columbus. Now, Carver Columbus is a good team. They have a very good defense. And they almost beat Brookwood of 7A. But in an upset, I could definitely see it.
Yeah.
Especially with Westbrook at the helm.
And also, Carver Columbus is a little unpredictable. You really don't know who's going to show up.
You don't know which team you're going to get.
Yeah. All right. 5A. We were talking Jones County. As of right now, Jones County sits number 1 team in Region 2.
Okay. Well, if they're going to sit number 1 in Region 2, their biggest challenge is obviously going to be Ware County in that second round matchup. This is where the hot take comes in. Part of the hot take. You're assuming that they will upset Ware County or Coffee, whoever lands in that spot.
Mm-hmm.
That's a rough one. But like I said, if there was ever a year for crazy stuff to happen, it's this year. Who's in the 2 spot right now for Region 2?
All right. Region 2 spot. Region is right now, as of today, Warner Robins.
So again, if you're Jones County, you're looking at either Ware County or Coffee in the second round. If you look at Region 2, Team 3, which is right above this in the quadrant right above, now you can see that look at that. Look at that. I mean, that's a gift. You're going to have to play, if you're the third ranked team in that region, which is not going to be likely, you're going to have to play Northgate in the first round and Arabia Mountain or Bradwell Institute. Jones County wins both of those games by at least 30, and they make the quarterfinals.
Interesting. Drew, how much time you got on your hands tonight?
I got more. I got more in me.
You got
how much
more
ever
in
you guys want?
Okay, so normally on our show, what we end up doing, we got this character that comes in, right? And he's actually tapping me on the shoulder right now. It's this guy called the Wizard, right? He makes predictions and stuff throughout the week. You know, he predicts games on the weekends, and he has a pick 'em going on. And he's getting about 80% of his picks correct
which
right
is very
now.
good. Which is very, very good.
He is due to come on. Just want to know if you want to stick around and listen to what he has to say for the upcoming week. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, since he likes to hang out in my basement, which him and the Wicked Witch of the West turned into their personal lair, I'm gonna go ahead and let him come on and talk to you. Okay?
Sure.
Mike, don't forget to play his theme music, please, because we don't want to hear that.
It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's time for the Wizard's Corner. And let's see what he has in store for everyone this weekend. Will you beat the Wizard? What's that?
Hello, Mr. Wizard.
Hey,
How are you
Wizard.
this evening?
I'm doing good. I've been listening to that fella Drew. He sounds like he got some sense.
He has plenty of sense. He's very, very good.
Why he don't come on here more often?
Well, did you know that he's a student at Georgia Tech? So that's very demanding. And he's involved in a lot of extracurricular activities. And he's a college student, so he does have a social life.
Drew.
That's funny.
To the show.
Thank you.
I think this is my first time meeting you.
I think it is. Yeah. I've only been on a few times, but yeah, this is the first time.
I like you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, real quick. Let me do what I gotta do. Because I got some things to do. So, single A, D2. The only upset that I'm calling this week is Brooks County over Early County.
In what?
In football. Any other comments from the panel? Because I'm tired of hearing from him.
Nothing at all, Mr. Wizard. Carry on.
Drew, you got anything to say about this? About Mr. Wizard's predictions in D2?
No, they look pretty good to me. The one I would like to hear more about is Manchester and Greenville. Why, Mr. Wizard? Why do you think that's going to be a close game?
Simply put, Greenville will punch Manchester in the mouth, but Manchester will get up and dust themselves off.
It's also a rival game too. So
you never know. The one thing I was looking at with Greenville is their only win is Marion County by 3, and they got beat by Spencer 65-19.
Oh, my Lord.
And I think I'm pretty sure Manchester hasn't, been all that, but Greenville has a 23-6. Manchester has the 23-6 series lead over them, and the last few matchups and the past one back here says Manchester wins 41-6, 39-6, 40-6, 38-8, 62-6, 49-0, and 32-0 going back to 2013.
Well, it has been a crazy year in Georgia high school football.
Oh yeah, can't argue with that.
And they are rivals, so maybe.
Okay, moving on to D1. I have no upset. I expect everyone in the top 10 to handle business. Well, I'm not counting Elbert County losing to Raven County, but still, everybody in the top 10 is going to handle business accordingly.
Well, that game would be a lot closer than you have predicted here, Mr. Wizard. I wouldn't be surprised if Elbert pulled an upset.
Well, make sure you get your pick'ems in by 6 p.m. on Friday.
Roscoe says Brooks will beat early, and he's going to keep his receipt.
I agree with that.
My man.
I agree with the Brooks over early, and I actually like all these picks. I like Raven over Elbert. I don't know if Elbert is all that. So I like Raven over Elbert, and especially so I like the Lamar County Temple score. I kind of like that. Lamar County doesn't have a tendency to put teams away for real. Just like Blakely County, they're a weird team. They're a really weird team. So like they can beat Dublin one week and then lose to West Lawrence the next week. So I like Lamar County having to hang in there with Temple, because it seems like not many of these 81 teams can truly be very consistent. So I like that. I like these picks.
See, I knew I liked you. 2A.
Okay.
Pierce County. Do not do what Appleton County did to me last week, and that's let me down. Handle your business. Outside of that, I have number 10 Athens Academy losing to Fellowship Christian.
That one I may have to disagree with.
Yeah, I'm undecided on Fellowship and Athens. I haven't yet to make. Haven't looked too deep in that matchup, but it's a really good matchup. Pierce and Toombs, I would have picked the same winner. I would pick Pierce. But honestly, I'm going to be a little bold. I might end up going with Pierce by 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
But of course, considering how last week went, I could be very, very wrong.
I guess my biggest thing is the level of competition, i.e. resume.
Yeah, Pierce County, that resume is not good. Man, I've never seen a team at that level, like a team that good, play such weak opponents. But they did hang with Appling, so I give them credit for that.
And Pierce put up points. They have weak opponents, but I heard you speaking of Cartersville, their offense can put the points up. So I imagine if you take a defense like Toombs, who've been playing great defense this year, it's kind of showed last week against Appling, Pierce can still, if you take away the 40, 50 points they put up a game, I still see around 30, 32, 33 points for Pierce. And I think their defense, who held Appling, who has a pretty good offense, to 17 points on last second field goal, I can see them holding Tune to around that. So I have Pierce in a 2-score advantage also.
Yeah, Pierce's defense is better than Toombs' defense.
Mm-hmm.
All right. 3A. Hopefully, City Grove can get it together and win a region game. Other than that, I got Carver Columbus over Chris, and I think Mary Persons handles business in a close game over Peach.
In what?
Football and foosball.
Yeah, you must be talking about cricket or something, because Mary Person did not beat Peach this weekend. I'm sorry. Peach County is a young team, great coach, gelling together at the right time. The prediction of Drew to say that they make quarterfinals, I think they do take the 1 seed. I think you see Peach County rolling from this point forward, and I could actually see them being a semifinal, if not a final team, with the way that team is gelling together.
Kind of going off of that, in terms of the Mary Persons Peach County pick, honestly, the way I might end up, well, I think you know this too as somebody who makes picks. You can't always go with your gut, or you can't always go with what you like. It's easy to say oh, Peach County is going to beat Mary Persons in an upset, but in your head, if you think 86 or 87% of the time Mary Persons is going to win, you pick Mary Persons to be the winner, but you make it a close game so that liability of, hey, I still think it's going to be an upset is still there. So honestly, for your Mary Persons Peach County score, I might be on the exact same number there. I think Peach County can pull off an upset. I think Mary Persons is the favorite, but I'm not confident enough in Peach County based off just one result over Carver Atlanta to pull the trigger and say, hey, they're going to win this game in an upset. So I love that pick between Mary Persons and Peach County. The only one, I like the Sandy Creek one too. Carver Columbus, same there. I think Sandy Creek might win by a little bit more. But Cedar Grove, that one, it's going to be a bigger margin of victory. Last week, Cedar Grove did lose to Carver of Alabama, so a different Carver. But they didn't have their starting QB. So the starting QB wasn't put in the game for some reason. I don't know why. Rumors are they wanted to save him for region play. Well, region play is here. So if Cedar Grove's QB plays, Cedar Grove is putting 50 on Douglas, and Douglas is probably not going to score more than 26.
Can you do me a favor, Drew?
What?
Can you get out of my head?
I will do just that.
I like you. All right, 4A. Again, I expect everybody to handle business. I do expect the Wayne County and New Hampstead to be a good one, though.
Yeah, that's a good pick on that. That score again is real good. I don't think the points get that high, as Wayne County is a run heavy offense ball control team. I don't think they put 35 up on New Hampstead, considering Benedictine barely put up 35 points on them. But the Perry bowling game, I think, will be a lot closer than what you have here. It's a lot of things going on in Perry that will not have their QB1 in. So I think Baldwin make a game out of it. Perry still be the victor.
Okay. I think for all of this, it's just a bunch of blowout games, which is how it should be. The Wayne County New Hampstead one, I really like the pick of New Hampstead making it a closer game. The cool thing about New Hampstead is they tend to play up to their opponents and then down to their opponents. Like they have no business allowing 34 to Southeast Bullock, but they also almost beat Richmond Hill and Benedictine. The thing with Benedictine is there's one team every year, regardless of class. I don't know why this happens. I don't know why. Every year there is one team, regardless of class, that always screws up analysis because of the way they play the game. Last year it was Fitzgerald. For some reason, they could not beat a team by more than 20. Whether you were terrible or whether you were the number 2 team, they would always win by like 26-6 or something like that. It was dumb. This year, that team is Benedictine. Now, from what I hear, it's because they have an extreme case of playing down to their competition and having overconfidence. So that leads to results like beating Westminster 27-14 and New Hampstead 39-31. But people also forget that in the big games, like Ware County, they beat Ware County. It was 31-21 before Ware made it a closer game. And Burke County, it was 31-7 before Burke County made it close and lost 38-30. So New Hampstead is a good pick there. Honestly, I kind of like the points on that. I like the 35 points. New Hampstead's defense isn't amazing. And while Wayne County, I agree that they're a very ball control heavy team, but they're not going to be having the ball much if New Hampstead's run defense can't play run defense against one of the best running backs in the state.
So you think Wayne? So Drew, you think Wayne and New Hampstead put up 30 points?
I could see. I don't know if I could see New Hampstead putting up 30 points on Wayne's defense, but I could definitely see Wayne County dropping 30 on New Hampstead. Okay. I could see it. It just comes down to to, you know, if New Hampstead's front learns how to, if they can tackle, if that front seven can tackle, you know, like high percentage, you know, if you watch the Georgia Tech Miami game or know what happened, Georgia Tech didn't have more than 2 missed tackles all game, which is crazy considering that was their one weakness all year is they kept missing tackles, which is why they lost to Bowling Green. So if New Hampstead can flip that switch for some reason, play with their hair on fire and, you know, wrap up on tackles, they are going to hold Wayne County to like 20 something points, but Wayne County's still going to win, I think. But if they can't, like they've been showing all year and allowing 34 to Southeast Bullock, Wayne County could top 40 just because of breaking off big runs with Matthew Fuller all the time.
All right. 5-8. Again, really only upset, which I think we all expect Cartersville over Hiram. Other than that, everybody should handle business in a blowout accordingly.
I like the Kell Cambridge score. I like that one. Warren Robbins is not playing, which is a great thing for them. Trust me, they need it.
They're gonna lose to the bye week.
Yeah, they're very well gonna lose to the bye week. So the one thing I see is I like the Jefferson score, Coffee Creek said all that. The Cartersville Hiram game. I'm intrigued. I like that score is a very interesting score because Hiram's defense is not good. So Cartersville could definitely drop 30-31. And could Hiram top, because Hiram scored 35 in every single game so far. And I could compare Cartersville's defense to Calhoun's defense somewhat. So that's an interesting game. I think the Hiram Cartersville game could go either way, but I like the pick and I like the score on that one.
Thank you. But do me a favor. Get out of my head.
I don't know about that. We think on kind of the similar wavelengths.
Okay. See, that's why I like you. You gotta come on more often.
I'll do my best.
Right. 6-8. Only 4 teams playing. Everybody blow out their opponent. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
No comment.
Okay. We can move on to 7-8. Yo, do you have anything to say?
Not at all. I agree with all of it.
Hoo-wee. We're going to skip past Buford Mill Creek for now and come back to it. But 3 through 10 handles business accordingly. Now we can go back to Buford and Mill Creek. Close game. Buford defense prevails in the end because it is the strongest in this contest between these two teams and will shut down Mill Creek's running game to force them to pass, which they are not that strong at. I'm leaving it at that.
No, that's literally perfect. That's the exact same way I would think about it. And
Buford.
I'll give you a little insider info. That's definitely going to be my game of the week this week. That'll release on Friday. And the score prediction on that is probably going to be pretty close to that. And my keys to victory will be the exact thing you said. Buford's defense is absolutely insane, especially that extremely talented front seven. Mill Creek, knowing this, is going to try and pass. Unfortunately, they don't have Hayden Clark at QB anymore. They have Shane Throgmartin. And while Shane Throgmartin is very capable, he is no Hayden Clark. And Buford might pick that apart.
Yeah. And I definitely agree. Buford's defense, again, the front seven is stupid, but the linebacker play is what's going to really be able to shut down that run defense. Mill Creek has a pretty good offensive line, so I think the front four will have their fight throughout the night. But those linebackers from Buford, man, it's going to be tough to run on them. I'm surprised that you have 20 points for Mill Creek. I'm sorry, I don't think they can put up 20 points against Buford's team.
I think the one kryptonite, or not kryptonite per se, but the one way Mill Creek could beat Buford is off the RPO, just keeping Buford's defense honest off the RPO. Because Mill Creek likes to run a lot of RPO slants, like they did with Caleb Downs and Macau Wood last year, and then they love to take a deep shot. Now the thing is, when you run, the RPO slants, you keep those linebackers in a certain place, which can open up run gaps through the A gap. But the thing is, you have Edric Houston somewhere near there, which is an issue. However, it also softens that corner. And I think one thing that Walton exposed last year was the fact that Buford's secondary in man coverage is, well, kind of overrated. It reminds me of if you ever followed those Lowndes teams back in like 2017, 2018, and 2019, we looked at those Lowndes teams for their vaunted defense. But when you really thought about it, it was just a front seven that gave the QB zero time to throw, which made the secondary look good because they never got passed on. But when somebody starts attacking that secondary and actually has time to throw, you'll realize that secondary isn't all that. So I think it's a similar case with Buford. No team has been able, and I don't think Mill Creek is the team to do it. A team like Walton is the team to do it, like they did last year. But no team Buford has played so far has been able to block long enough, or not even block long enough, just take their shots downfield and let the secondary be tested for Buford. I think if Mill Creek uses the RPO action and tries to bring those Buford corners in to play more man to allow the linebackers to cheat towards the middle for the run, it could open up deep shots for a receiver like Trajan Greco, who plays both sides, Georgia Tech commit.
Okay. I got other insight. What the heck? Well, I see it from a different perspective. I think Buford stacks the box and forces or tries to make Mill Creek one-dimensional, i.e., pass on me if you can. I dare you. Because
yeah, that's what they should do.
That front seven will get, as you said, get that pressure to allow Buford to play man on the back end and let KJ and his fellow teammates do what they do. Now, on the offensive side of the ball, Raiola will continue doing what he's doing. Be efficient and careful with the ball and establish the run.
Yeah, Buford. So, I mean, a lot of people don't like it, but Buford's offense is not one of the best in 7A. I'm sorry.
It's a run-first offense.
Yeah. I mean, and that's how it has to be. They had Justice Haynes and all last year too. I think now that I look more into this, it's intriguing when you go back to the Mill Creek matchup. It's exactly what you were saying. They're going to stack the box, and I think the way Mill Creek counters that is, Buford's going to dare them to take their shots deep, and I think Mill Creek's going to welcome that challenge. But the thing is, they're just not going to be able to get it done because I don't think Mill Creek game plans that well for this game. I think Mill Creek tries to go with the approach of, hey, let's play our game and let Buford adapt to us, which is not going to work at all. And so I think they run into a wall with that. But if they kind of go with what you're saying and Buford sacks the box and Mill Creek tries to react to that, they'll have a better shot at winning.
Who, Mill Creek or Buford?
Nah, I'm saying Mill Creek will have a better chance to win if they learn to make in-game adjustments rather than come in with a set game plan.
Yeah. But I guess the biggest thing is, at the end of the day, Buford has dogs at all three levels on that defense.
Oh, I completely agree with you. They do. Only thing is, I've seen how that goes, like last year and in other years as well. I love talent as much as the next person loves talent, but I don't know. It's different in Georgia sometimes. Yeah, coaching. Yeah. And Lovelady at Mill Creek, their head coach, he's gonna have to coach the game of his life.
Yeah. Who makes the best in-game adjustment?
That's gonna be Buford.
Okay. So, with that, I'm gonna say, get your pick'ems in by 6 p.m. on Friday, and good luck at beating me. Drew, I like you. You gotta come on more often.
I'll try my best.
I appreciate talking with you tonight.
Thank you. I love talking with you too, even if I can't hear your normal voice.
So, me and my wicked witch is about to ride off. Y'all be good with it.
What is his normal voice, Drew?
Oh, you're right. My bad.
See you later, Mr. Wizard.
Good night, Wizard.
I do.
Man, y'all gonna stop doing my friend like that.
What?
You don't even play his music half the time, so is that really your friend?
That's my friend. I'm not the EP.
And he think he know everything.
Who the
'Cause
Wizard?
because he over 80% this year and stuff.
Man,
Only,
people.
only in the top 10 predictions. With regard to the pickums, he's shooting
Yeah,
bad.
because who's winning
There's
that?
there's B.S. Robbins.
You sound a little mad, bro.
There's B.S.
Huh?
Robbins. You know when
Don't
the
forget.
wizard. You
Don't
know when
forget
the
to
wizard
call my
come on.
Esquire.
Well, come Esquire. You know when the wizard come on, so you put the music on. He
I
let you know
know.
when he coming. Oh well, you just let me know before he come. I got
He be tripping, man. He just be look real talk. He just be popping up sometimes. It's like I get a knock at the door. He just showed up.
Mm.
He be
But
trying to watch
nah,
that lady because Joe been on coming on a little late here lately.
Mm.
So yeah, there's that.
Mm.
uh,
Mm.
you
Mm.
know what? I'm not gonna get in that. That ain't my business. I'm not gonna say that to him about it. If it is what it is, he'll find out eventually.
Mm. Mm.
What's going on, Dro? How you doing?
What's going on, everybody? How everybody doing?
Man,
Hey Joe, hey, you sound good.
Oh,
it's
you
nice to hear
sound
your voice, sir.
great.
It's nice to
Yeah,
hear your voice.
yeah, good to hear everybody. I'm on the rebound, and it feel good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good to
Yeah,
hear you.
yeah, man. It's great to have my voice. Coming back in or whatever. But I want to say, hello, Drew. How you doing, man? I heard y'all analysis. Yo and Thirsty. You know what I'm saying? I'm not Thirsty. The Wizard was on. Wizard, Yo, and Drew. Y'all
Mhm.
did a good job. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay,
Appreciate
let
Thank
me
you.
it,
say
man.
this real quick. Jeremy, you gonna shut up tonight. We gave you grace last night when your applehead ass went up to Toombs County and lost. So you are going to shut up, or I am going to block you. Shut up, and I
Jeremy,
mean it.
Jeremy, act like you got some sense. We got guests in the house tonight.
Thank you. Let's talk. Let's keep it sports related. Keep your little trash later, little boy. If I come wring your
Well,
neck.
let me steer the ship another way. I came in kind of late. Drew, I want to ask you a question about why do you have Peach County qualifying for the quarterfinals this season? I'm interested to hear that.
Well, so the thing with that is that's a hot take. That's not what I think right now.
Yeah,
So
you
the
can
thing,
hush too.
so yeah, I was. So this is you said you missed the front part of it. So that completely explainable because in the beginning I explained how when you make a hot take isn't necessarily what you believe. A hot take is something where it's unexpected. You want the person to look at it and be like, nah, that doesn't sound right. But the more they look into it, the more it seems possible. It doesn't mean that's what I think it's going to happen. For example, one of my hot takes was Hiram beats Cartersville by 17. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's a hot take because it's unpredictable. You never know what could happen. So Peach County reaching the quarterfinals is a hot take. But honestly, it might not be that hot because Peach County, I think they just beat Carver Atlanta. Now that's one win, and everybody says, okay, great. But the reason it's a hot take is do we think that this win over Carver Atlanta is Marquise Westbrook's "Hey, I'm back" type moment where he does it with Warner Robins every single year, where he enters the playoffs and everybody thinks, this is not that great of a team, and then they absolutely wreck every team on their schedule, including Cartersville. So, is this a sign that hey, Peach County is back? That's part of the hot take here. Me personally, I will not say yes or no they will be in the quarterfinals now because frankly, I need to wait until this Friday. I need to see what happens. The one thing that kind of reflects in my rankings is a lot of ranking services, they love to see one good win and they will rank that team in the top 3. That is not how I roll. For example, Toombs County right now is the number 8 team. They are number 8. Yes, you beat number 1 Appling. That does not mean you deserve to be number 1. Now, if you can beat Pierce, okay, now we're talking because that shows consistency. But one win here and there doesn't qualify for much. So right now, I'm looking. The jury is still out. That's my answer. I'm waiting until Peach County plays this Friday to see how they match up against Mary Persons. If they put up a fight / pull off an upset, we'll be talking about quarterfinals and maybe even semifinals. That'll prove to us that Peach is a different team than the 5-loss Peach team that we saw to start the season.
Okay. See, my thing is sometimes records can be deceiving. And
I agree.
the reason I say that, and I know a lot of people may disagree with what I'm about to say, but I think Carver Atlanta is better than their record shows. Now I'm not saying they're better than Cedar Grove or anything like that. But in my opinion, I think that was a quality road win. Now I agree with you
That
that
is a quality road win. That
yes,
very much is a quality road win
yeah,
because
that was a
Carver is ranked. I had Carver ranked in the top 10. So that is a quality ranking. That's a good thing. And when you talk about record and you say, well, people say, well, Peach County's 2-4. That means absolutely nothing. Well, look at the teams they played. Northside Warner Robins, that's a 6A team. Jones County, 5A team ranked. Perry, 4A team ranked and a really good offense. Baldwin, who started off the year unranked, but then quickly became ranked until they, met their end against Spalding. So you're right. You're right. You're very much right. Carver Atlanta is a quality win for them. But like I said, consistency. Can you start stacking those wins? Or can you make it close at least? Can you prove to us that wasn't a fluke?
exactly.
Here comes the Trojans. That's all I can say. Here come the Trojans.
Well, I mean, I hear you with what you're saying, and I agree with that. But and the thing is, like, okay, we know Upsley and Mary Prison, we know what their records are and everything. 3A, in my opinion, is not very strong this year. It's a lot of teams that are ranked that may end up being fools, though. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But to Drew's point, this game in Forsyth this Friday is a big game. For Peach. Well, actually for both teams, because Mayor Press is gonna want to prove that they're not a fluke, and Peach County is gonna prove that. Wait a minute now, Mayor President of the league, y'all not what y'all think y'all are. Does that make sense?
Makes total sense to me.
It does.
Okay, Drew, we have a question for you in the comment section.
Yep.
From Jamie. He says, Colquitt losing in the second round is a hot take.
Yeah, that's a hot take. I mean, you look at Colquitt County, and that's a good team. But there's one issue with Colquitt County. They can't win on the road in the playoffs. And obviously since 2017, because 2017 their entire road was through the playoffs. But you look at here, I'll pull it up and I'll show you. So, or not on there, but here, 2018, they make it to the playoffs. They lose to Milton, but they didn't play one road playoff game. They played all home playoff games, went on the road to Mercedes-Benz and lost. 2019, they go on the road second round to Parkview, lose, but they were the 2 seed. 2020, on the road to Norcross, they lose. On the road 2021, or they don't even make it on the road because they lose in the first round to Walton at home. That wasn't that good of a team anyway. Their defense was not great. 2022, they lose at home to Carrollton. So one thing I see is if this Colquitt team goes on the road, regardless of who they're playing, it's a tough sell to say they're going to win. And I've in 2020, I think Norcross versus Colquitt County, I thought Colquitt County is the better team all year, but they lost because they just can't win on the road. So will they lose in the second round? Is that a hot take? Yeah, because Colquitt's going to win their region, which means their second round game would be a home game. And there's some insane stat where it's like Colquitt is 31-5 in their last 36 home playoff games. So would Colquitt losing in the second round, which would be a home game, a hot take? Yeah, that's a hot take.
I have another question. Now, I know these teams don't play each other this week, but what are your thoughts about Thomas County Central versus Houston County?
So that one's probably going to end up being a shootout per se. I think Thomas County Central wins that one. Houston County is a good team. I think a lot of the hype coming into the season was a little bit unwarranted on Houston County. And I accurately, I'm not going to say accurately predicted it, but I accurately accounted for it. Because if I go back to a lot of people had Houston County ranked as a top 3 or a top 2 team entering this season. Now, I wasn't so sure. I started Houston County at 6. Because one thing I know of this team is they're very good, but when they play a team like Lee County or something like that, they're not going to win that game. And they did it. So it's there's levels to this is the way I'll say it. Will they beat Thomas County Central? Yeah, it's very much possible they'll beat Thomas County Central. But I think Thomas County Central's defense is good enough to hold Houston County to under 35 or 42 points, which – considering that the Houston County defense can't stop a fly right now, I think Thomas County Central is going to end up winning the game 49-34 or something like that.
Okay.
Hold on,
Sticking with
can I say something? I wish I could see me over here. I'm grinning like I'm really a fan of Thomas Central. Shout out to that defense.
oh yeah, okay. They're a good team. I'm not taking anything from them. And they're 6A, correct?
Yeah.
They are.
So,
Yeah.
we at the beginning of the season, Langston Hughes was like the clear-cut favorite to take 6A. What are your thoughts about Langston Hughes and what's been going on with them, Drew?
Well, so the thing with them is they've been dealing with some injuries, but that's not an excuse for absolutely anything. You do not get, that's one thing with my rankings. You do not get an excuse for injury. Injuries happen to everybody. Now that seems a little unfair. It's like, wow, you're docking a team because they didn't have their starting QB. Well, no, when that starting QB comes back, your team will end up proving that they're still a top 10 team by winning games they were supposed to win in the first place. So your spot in the top 10 will still be there when you come back and you prove to it. So with regards to your question about Langston Hughes, they do have the losses to Douglas County and Butler, and that too, oddly, by the same exact score of 30-27. But this exposes a more glaring problem. It's that the Langston Hughes defense is not the same Langston Hughes defense as the past. Now, I still think Langston Hughes is a top 5 team in 6A, and I don't understand people who don't think so, because this is still a very good team. But they've been upset twice. Now, do I think they'll win the state championship this year? As of now, I don't know. I'm going to lean on the side of no for right now. But this team is not one to be played with. Do not. My warning to people is you don't look at this team and say, you know what? They're not the same Langston Hughes as last year. You're right in a sense, but that offense isn't going to slow down. They're not going to take pity on. They're not an easy team to beat. Langston Hughes could be anything from a second round exit to a state championship team right now.
Okay. Sticking with a point you just made about teams, they have to still perform, go out there and get the win despite injuries and everything. The AJC consistently ranked Cedar Grove at 1, even though they lost a few games. What are your thoughts about Cedar Grove so far?
Yeah, so I'm kind of one of the rare times I actually agree with that. I would rank Cedar Grove number 1 too, and it's because of this. Let's look at their schedule. They're playing a top 10 team in Westlake. They only lose by 5. They're playing a top 5 team in Mill Creek. They lose by 20. What is that? 21. But they still score 35 on a 7A team that's top 3 or top 5. They lose 50-42 at Colquitt County, which is a top 3, top 2 7A team. So I look at that and I say, do you, in your honest opinion, you look at these results where they're playing top 10 teams and are hanging with these top 10 7A teams. Do you think that Cedar Grove team is better than a Calvary Day team that's played straight like average teams in 3A and beats Savannah Christian by 21 late in the 4th? Or do you think that's better than Stevens County that beats Habersham Central by 2? Yeah, they are better because and I dock them now. They're number 2 for me now because they lost to Carver in Alabama. Because one thing is when you keep losing to these teams, you have to start getting good wins. Like beating Collins Hill is a good win. Beating Dutchtown is an okay win. You got to start winning these games. So do I think Cedar Grove right now would beat Calvary Day? Yes. But Cedar Grove is going to sit at number 2 right now because their resume doesn't have enough wins. And they have a bunch of quality losses, which is awesome. But the thing is, you don't have a quality win yet. So right now they moved down to 2, but they stood at 1 because of all their results. It proves they're a better team than the other teams in 3A.
Okay.
I will say this. I want to add this to what you said, Drew. And keep in mind, I am a Cedar Grove fan, Cedar Grove
That I know.
alum, all that. So that Carver Montgomery game, it was an upset. After that game, Cedar Grove losing that game, they deserve to drop in every poll.
Correct. They
Because
did.
that was an upset. Regardless of who played and who did not play, that game was still an upset.
Mm-hmm.
So was Monarch.
Yeah, Monarch was an upset as well. So I think so. So one thing I do with my rankings that nobody else does, and I did this for a reason. So when I if you look at my rankings, if you pull up like an example of my rankings, you will see a line. You will not see number 1 this, number 2 this. You will see a giant line. Now, I rank teams on this line, and like you'll see, like for example, in my 3A rankings right now, you'll see that Mary Persons is place on the line and Sandy Creek's place on the line are right next to each other, whereas Calvary Day's place on the line and Cedar Grove's place on the line at 1 and 2 are very spread out. I do that on purpose. Yeah, look at that. So I do this on purpose. It shows you how close a team is to passing the next team. Now, if you, I don't expect you to do this, but if you go back to my preseason rankings, you'll see that Cedar Grove has a very, very big lead on number 2, number 3, number 4. It's massive. But with each little loss, they lost to Monarch. Okay, that lead shrinks a little bit. They keep losing, that lead shrinks little by little. And if you can track it week per week, I do this. So that when you get to that Carver, Alabama game and they lose in that upset, well, at that point, that's another bad loss. So they drop down to number 2, and the gap starts to widen between Calvary Day and Cedar Grove. So Cedar Grove actually starts with this massive gap. Rightfully so. They're a really good team over everybody else. And that gap seems to go down and down and down. It keeps getting shorter and shorter. So if you go to like week 1 rankings and you scroll to like 3A, for example. Oh, no.
Drew, I have a quick question.
Yeah, look at the gap. Yeah.
Yeah. Give me some insight on Stevens County and what you've observed about them.
Good question, Jess, because I was thinking that. Good question.
So Stevens County, a lot of people will be quick to say, well, they could be one of those, pretenders, not contenders. I will assure you, this is a contender. And you look at their first game, the way I see it is they had one win, which sparked something great. They first had their win over Habersham Central by 2, which is not a good win. It was a very bad result. And frankly, it's their worst result of the season. And it's a win, and it's still their worst result. But what happened was the next game, they played Rabun County. And they played so well in that game. They won 35-0 over Rabun County that it sparked something. They played a ranked Flowery Branch team, beat them by 25, then beat the crap out of Dawson County, White County, and then beat a Monroe area team whose defense is actually very good, scored 38 on them and won 38-7, beat Franklin County 52-7. This Stevens County team has found a groove. I honestly felt that last year's Stevens County team was the best chance they had at going deep in the playoffs. But they have found something this year that is clicking on all cylinders. They are probably, right now, the hottest team in 3A.
And see, that's what I've been saying the past few weeks, Drew. I think Stevens County is a sleeper. A lot of people are
shouldn't be a
them.
sleeper. They should be a contender.
Well, when I say sleeper, I mean one of those teams that a lot of people are really not giving a lot of respect. Like, I'll put it this way.
I feel you, yeah.
Mary Persons is in the top 5, right? But I don't think Mary Persons will beat Stevens County.
Okay. I need to actually look at Mary Persons real quick. I could see Mary Persons beating Stevens County, but I don't know. Stevens would put up one heck of a fight because Mary Persons also did beat Prince Avenue Christian by 17. So you can't rule it out. But yeah, Stevens County would put up a very good fight and maybe even beat Mary Persons straight up head to head.
And this they laugh at me, but Morgan County is in the top 10. And
yeah, Morgan County
is that fool's gold.
It is, unfortunately. I have Morgan County in my top 10, but the reason is it's literally because I can't put anybody else there.
Exactly.
Like they are quite literally a placeholder. Like a lot of people, if you look at like the AJC's ranking or something, they have Morgan County at like 8 or 9. And that's about right now because who else are you going to put? Carver, Atlanta? Like no, Thomasville. They just lost, so you can't just suffer no punishment for losing. So
all right, Drew, take it a little light.
I know.
You got something real good out on him.
Morgan County sits at 9 right now. But you look at you look at their resume, and Morgan County is just I don't know what you see here. I mean, they lose to Greene County. They beat Hebron, which is nice. They beat Monroe area, which is an upset ranked win. They're only one, but besides that, haven't really shown much. So I look for Morgan County to win their last 3 games, really easy games against Hepzibah, Cross Creek, and Harlem. Maybe that'll bump them up to like 8 or 7. But it's going to be the playoffs where we really find out whether Morgan County is legitimate or not.
Exactly, man.
And people were saying similar about Greene County.
Same for them. They have one good win and a bunch of nothing else. I mean, look at if you click on Greene. There you go. Click on Greene County. They have the win over Morgan County, which looks really good, right? Well, then you look at the Oglethorpe County game. Oglethorpe County is horrible, and it is a 14-7 game. So they have 0 ranked wins. The one thing I will not understand is look at the rank of Greene County. What does it say next to the AJC? It says number 2. It says number 2. Why? Why are they? What have they shown to be ranked number 2? Right now, for me, Greene County is where are they for me?
Okay.
What did they do? They beat Oglethorpe County by 7, and they jumped 5 spots.
Mm.
Good point.
I don't
But
know.
they still got to play Aquinas, which I know
They might lose that one.
Yeah, they definitely gonna lose that one.
Well, I know for us, like I told you earlier, Drew. I don't know if it was backstage or live, but we started doing our own rankings this year,
Mm-hmm.
and this is what we. Whoa, wrong screen. I'm sorry, wrong screen. Let me stop sharing that. I'm trying to share something. Trying to show you our 2A rankings is what I'm trying to show you right now. So bear with
All
me.
right.
So basically, this is where we got our 2A ranking at right now.
82.
Yeah, AD2 ranking right now.
Okay, so I see Sly County at number 1, and that's as clear of a number 1 as you can get. If anybody else has Sly County not number 1, that is automatically illegitimate because Sly County is by far the best team in that class.
Exactly.
So Clinch County, Early County, Aquinas. Early County is not all that. Early County is sliding down my rankings at a pace unknown to man. They're not that good. The reason I'll say, and I don't just say that to be mean, I'm saying this because when you look at the results, they're 5-1. That's great. They lost to Sly County by 30. They beat Miller County by 14. Randolph Clay, which is terrible, by 15. I don't think this is a top 3 team in any sense. But I think Brooks County will show that. So you won't have to worry about moving them down. Clinch County at 2 is interesting. I have Manchester and Bowden at 2 and 3. I think Bowden's a much better team than 10 right now because they also hung with Manchester 1. And 2, they've gotten themselves into one of those – how I talked about Stevens County and getting into a groove after a win?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Bowden did the exact same thing after a loss, and they've gotten into a groove where they're scoring 40 to 50 points a game and allowing under 10 or 14. So I think Bowden, until proven otherwise, to me they're a top 3 team, and Aquinas barely beat them. Manchester. I don't know why I said Aquinas. Manchester barely beat them. So Manchester's at a comfortable 2 right now. They also have a couple good wins in there. Aquinas. This is not on you guys, but I think you might see Aquinas start to slip a little bit. They've lost their top player for the year, and he's out with a season-ending injury. So Aquinas, for me, sits at 9, and that's mostly because of the fact that they're barely beating a borderline top 10 Lincoln County team by 7. They survived a winless Greenbrier team by 8. They lost to Harlem by 5. They beat Westside Augusta by 2 and Country Day by 2. To me, this is barely a top 10 team. Jenkins County is a good pick. I like Jenkins County. They could move up. They're 8 for me right now. I think they could scoot up. Greene County, I like keeping Greene County in that 6-7 spot. That's where I have them too. Macon County, I think a little bit low for me. They hung with Clinch County. Actually, they beat Clinch County. So I would give them a little bump. And then having Telfair at 9 is perfect. I have them at 10.
Yeah. And we're looking at it, and we do our best to look at it the same way you're doing. It's just my thing. Our biggest thing is if you don't lose, it's hard to drop you. So, but with these last 4 weeks, and I know with these last 4 weeks of the season, i.e. region play, everything is about to settle and sort itself out. So a lot of these teams that's, in 6 and below, the cream is about to rise to the top. So all this is going to sort itself out these last 4 weeks.
So you brought an interesting point up about not being able to lower teams because they keep winning. And that's something that I have to deal with sometimes with my rankings, but honestly, just up to you on how the one thing I would tell you guys is, make the rankings how you want to make the rankings, not how society tells you to make rankings.
Oh, we do. Now we have dropped the team for losing.
Yeah, so like if society will tell you, well, if a team keeps winning, keep moving them up. I personally don't do that. I will look at like Aquinas, for example. Aquinas keeps winning, which is good for them, but they're barely beating really bad teams. So for me, I don't have any problem slightly scooting them down because I can justify it and say you're beating teams that are really bad by 2 or 3. What does that say about you?
Man, you know what, Drew? Drew,
Mm-hmm.
I think the wizard told you earlier, get out of our head.
So
I think I think we totally agree with you because all wins are not quality wins.
Correct.
When you actually take a look at it and you examine the win, just don't look at the scoreboard. Look at the i.e. resume. Look at who they're playing, how they perform. You got to take that into account.
Yeah. Quality wins only make up under when we talk about all wins in the state of Georgia every week, quality wins only make up under 10% of those.
Yeah.
So we have a comment from Coach Alex from Calvary Day.
Ooh.
He says the day school, Savannah, Georgia, will have 4 teams in Final Fours. Benedictine, Day School, New Hampstead, and Savannah Christian.
Well, I'm laughing at you right now because one of them got to come to Ellenwood and get baptized in that waters.
One question for Coach.
New Hampstead's not making it. I'll tell you that.
One question.
I get the love of New Hampstead because they hung with Benedictine, but that's one game. The other thing is New Hampstead has no good wins yet, 0 good wins. Now, as important as it is to say, hey, they played good in the losses, you need to eventually win a game. That's something I've learned. Like there's a lot of teams like Cedar Grove, for example, like they play a lot of good teams and they lose to the good teams. But the thing they do to back that up is they beat the teams that are like ranked in 3A. They beat those teams. New Hampstead, I'm not sure if they can do that. We haven't seen it yet, frankly. So I don't think New Hampstead even makes it past the second round right now, depending on the bracket.
I got one question for Coach, and all y'all know what that is. What in 514 in what?
He said,
hey, hold on. Hey, Drew. Hey, I'm sorry. Yo. They do have a chance.
And a snowball chance in hell. Ain't no way.
But they got a chance.
They got a chance.
Let me mention this to you, Drew. Rashid, welcome, Slade. Welcome, Mr. Slade. He says Bacon County is about to touch Pelham, Brooks, and Irwin on the shoulder.
Well, Bacon County is a good team. And you look at the Bacon, like when you talk about Bacon County, people automatically say, oh my God, this is a team that went 1-10 last year, 0-9 the year before. There's no way this team's going to do anything. But let's look a little deeper. I mean, they put up a fight against Lanier County. They almost beat Clinch County, and they have beaten Johnson County. So this is a good team, and I think they will rub these teams against. They might not win it, but they're going to give them a nice little shove. I think Brooks and Irwin, they might be able to upset one of those two if Brooks or Irwin goes into like what I like to call the Miami mode because of what happened last Saturday, where they go into the I think we're really fine. I don't think we need to take this team seriously. If they go into that mode, yeah, Brooks or Irwin are going to get a little shock. Irwin is more likely to get that shock. But I think Bacon County is a good team.
But would it really be an upset this year if they beat Brooks County?
No, it would definitely be an upset. Guys, click on Brooks County real quick. Let's see.
Because I think Brooks County, 1-5?
Correct. But
it don't matter, though. But look at the losses Brooks County took, though.
Can you blame them for losing to Thomas County Central, Bainbridge? I mean, even at least they kept it close with Wayne County, but you can't really blame them for these losses. I mean, even Cook is a good team this year. But the thing with Brooks is they got to start winning games, and that starts on Friday. When they play Early County, that is going to be the biggest temperature check for both Early County and Brooks County. If this had been an early season game, you're not going to learn a dang thing from this. But since it's now and we know where each team is ranked respectively in their class, if Brooks beats Early County, people are going to learn that Early County wasn't all that. And Brooks is maybe it was hidden because they played 4 top 6 teams. But if Early County wins, we can finally say, okay, Early is legit. And Brooks, on the other hand, is, the quote unquote fraud this year. But they're not a fraud. I don't like calling teams frauds. That's why I put the quotes.
Oh, you're so kind. We have another question for you, Drew. Mm-hmm. Antonio says, if a ranked team dominates a bad team like they're supposed to, that doesn't count for anything?
Correct. It doesn't change a thing because here's the reason I use it. If a team like Cedar Grove plays a team like Cross Creek and wins 56-0, what does that tell you? It tells you absolutely nothing. It tells you Cross Creek is a subpar bad team, which is what you already knew. That Cedar Grove is a really good team. Like the only thing that would be surprising would be like if Cross Creek were to score, 30 and make it a 5-point game. Now that tells you something because it means maybe Cedar Grove isn't all that, or maybe Cross Creek is better than people think. But if you just blow out a team that you're expected to blow out, nothing is going to change because you learn exactly 0 from that game.
So here's the thing, Drew. I was just gonna just kind of give a frame of reference. And Tanzio is a Northeast fan, and so they've played, a Southwest and Central, and they've, really, really dominated those teams.
I'll let you in on a little secret. This is an analysis secret that might not make sense, but believe me, from what I've seen, it actually has worked in the past. Take a team like Cedar Grove, and use the example I was using before, Cedar Grove versus Cross Creek. Mm-hmm. If Cedar Grove should win that game, 56-0. It won't be. They could drop 100 on it. They really could, because anybody could. But they'll win 56-0. Now you look at another team that maybe isn't a top 10 team, and they'll beat Cross Creek 85-0. I will tell you right now, the team that runs up the score or puts an absurd amount of points on the board is not a contender. Is not a team that will end up being a true threat in the future. I don't know why it happens, but if you look at it, I don't know why, but if you look at a team who beats their opponent, who's a really bad opponent, and they beat them 56-0, that's probably that's a normal team. If you see that team win 85-3, that's believe it or not, it's actually going to speak worse about that team down the line. I don't know why. It's unexplainable, but it happens.
We're gonna say 83-6, but
yeah,
that's a Roswell score from last week when they played last week. But real fast, per your statement, your example, I have Thomas County Central scheduled up on the screen.
Yes.
This is what we've been trying to explain to Thomas County Central.
Mm-hmm.
Look at your non-region schedule. The teams you are playing, yes, they were beating you, and I'm gonna show you. They were beating you in the past few years when you were down and out. Now, since last year, you've been up. So you've been beating these same opponents on Highway 84.
Correct.
So therefore, you're doing what's expected of you to do without question.
I mean, you look at if you look at the veterans in the Tift County game, that adds nothing to rankings. Absolutely nothing, because Tift County is probably the most disheveled program right now in 7A. It's out of their control. It's not a great situation, but they're not gelling well. I feel bad for them, but so they're not in a great shape. But that's a win that you have to beat that. Veterans 52-0, that's expected of you if you're a top 5 team. The one that, believe me, the one win that speaks the most here is Bainbridge. That speaks the most out of any of this. Cairo, you're supposed to win by that much. Thomasville, you're supposed to win by that much. Brooks County, I was surprised you didn't drop 50 on them. You're supposed to win by that much. So it's that Bainbridge win that speaks the most, because Bainbridge has a fighting chance in 4A. They're a top 3 team in 4A. And the fact that you beat them by 31 is the greatest aspect of this. But besides that, these are games that every top 5 team in 6A is supposed to win. So you're not going to move up 3 spots because you beat Tift County.
Drew, Mr. Watkins has a question. He wants to know how you feel about Perry.
I like Perry. I think one thing I kind of loved Perry last year because of I loved watching Armar Gordon play, Armar Gordon Jr. He was a really good passer of the football, an underrated passer of the football. One guy I got my eye on is Dakari Anderson. I think he's pretty people don't speak enough about he's underappreciated, Dakari. So if I look at the Perry team from this year, 6-1, and that Houston County game, that's a good result. Okay, that's a good result. But it might not be as good as people think because of how bad Houston County's defense is and how good Coulter Ginn's passing offense is. So, but you look at the other games on the schedule. They beat Jones County. They beat Peach County. But besides that, they don't have that much. The one win that's concerning for me is Veterans. How do you allow Veterans to score 41? I mean, it's not an issue now. Obviously, you won the game. You know, you're cruising through region play. That's going to show up in the playoffs. Because that teams are going to study that tape specifically and find out exactly what worked. So I wouldn't just say, it's an anomaly. Don't worry, you only allowed 42 to Houston County. It's an anomaly. That's gonna come back and bite if Perry has that attitude. So I think Perry right now is where they need to be. They are around in my rankings right now. Perry is sitting square at 4th in a tight race with 5th Troop County and 6th Stockbridge. So I think they're gonna hang around there until they do something great. Like if they can beat Spalding by like 2 or 3 touchdowns, that's gonna make a dent. But beating Baldwin, beating West Lawrence, that's not gonna do much.
Okay. Jeremy has a question. He wants to know what team in 3A do you think can match up with Cedar Grove and actually give them a game?
None.
Okay. Well, the answer to this question is going to be the team with the best offense. So, ideally, it's easy to say like Calvary Day, but I'm going to give you a sleeper pick here. I'm going to say Stevens County gives you the best shot. Because the Stevens County offense is one of the most consistent offenses in the state. Now, if they can continue, huh?
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, okay, yeah. So they're one of the most consistent offenses in the state, and I think with the fact that Cedar Grove's defense has proven they literally cannot stop anybody from scoring. It doesn't matter who. You could be great or terrible. They're still going to allow points. I think Stevens County could drop 40 on that Cedar Grove defense, and it's not unheard of. And I think Cedar Grove maybe stalls out on 1 or 2 drives and maybe loses 40 to 38. The reason I won't go with Calvary Day is because I think with the way Cedar Grove handled Calvary Day last year, and like apart from that, if you look at a team like Calvary Day, they don't pass the ball that much. They don't attack secondaries as much. They love to control the clock. They love to slow games down, run the ball, more like a pro-style offense would do. They love doing that. Unfortunately, against Cedar Grove, the only way you're going to win is with explosiveness. And that's what Stevens County provides you with, explosiveness. And so I think the team with the best swing, matchup-wise, they're not the best team, Stevens County, but matchup-wise, Stevens County poses the biggest threat to Cedar Grove right now.
Zachary wants to know who your dark horse is in 4A.
Ooh, dark horse. So dark horse is a team that nobody expects. Popular pick has been Central Carrollton and all that. I'd go with Burke County. A lot of people don't consider them like a championship caliber team, even though they're ranked in the top 10. But to look at their resume, they've beaten Thompson. The reason people will shy down on them is because they only beat Effingham County by 4 and Evans by 15. But they also do have a win over Wayne County, and they hung with Benedictine. They came back. They were down by a lot, but they did come back to make that game competitive. If this loss twists them the way I think it might, they might be able to run the table in the regular season, which shouldn't be that bad. And depending on their playoff draw, they might be able to pull off an upset or two and make it to the semifinals of the title game. So I like Burke County in that one. Their offense has proven it can be explosive. Their defense has also proven, besides the run game, that they can hang in there, especially in the second half of games.
Can I interject right quick?
Sure.
Now, Coach Montague, I respect you, brother. I do. Now, you was laughing last year, and you was rooting for your team and everything. And what happened? They played Cedar Grove and got straight buzzsaw. You know what I'm saying? They got ran over, bulldozed, demolished, destroyed. Any words you could think of. They brought that pain to Calvary Day. You understand what I'm saying? So don't overlook Stevens County. I'm telling you, that team is special, man. You don't believe it, but Stevens County is special. I'm telling you.
Stevens County is a really good team, but I think I'm not fully sold on them being like a state championship team right now, but definitely a team that could reach the quarters or even the semis.
So Ken has a question that he asked earlier. Where do you put HOCO in the region? Do they challenge TCC next week?
Well, they are going to challenge them. If they don't challenge them, that would be very uncharacteristic. I think right now, Houston County is going to end up third in the region. it's a pretty clear cut between TC and the winner of TC and Lee will be first. The loser will be second, and Houston will be third. Houston County is like a case study for me. Like, I'm a big research guy. I go to Georgia Tech. It's in my blood.
Of course.
But Houston County is a weird case study for me because I watch a lot of the highlights and I see that Houston County is a deep threat team. They will try and go deep. They will also try to use the RPO. The way I see it, they are in their passing game. Their passing game only consists of RPOs and deep shots. So for a team that has a better defense like Thomas County Central, it becomes a little easier to stop. And when I mean only, I don't mean literally the only thing they do. I mean the highest percentage more than other teams. And that defense obviously is kind of a liability right now. Usman Kroma had a career day on TV there. And I don't know if a team like Thomas County Central will not score on a defense like Houston County. I think Thomas County Central scores with ease, like 42 points type ease, because how are you going to stop them?
Yeah.
And I kind of have Lee 1, Hoko 2, and Thomas County 3.
You think Houston County wins?
I think Houston County wins.
Interesting.
And then I'm going to ask you this question, a personal question. After I ask this question from Tim Brown,
Mm-hmm.
He wants to know where the Lincoln County Red Devils are ranked after beating Washington Wilkes.
Sorry, not in the top 10.
Yeah, well, Lincoln County was in the top 10 last week. Now, it's weird because they did beat Washington Wilkes, but they dropped out of my rankings by one spot. They're 11th, but they're not in the top 10. Now, the reason for that is Washington Wilkes is not that good of a team. So when you beat just 6, that's we talk about games where you should be winning by like 14 or 20. Yeah, this is not a great result. So I think Lincoln County sits just outside the top 10. And frankly, with the way this classification is going, we could see a couple upsets here and there that would allow Lincoln County to sneak into the top 10. But I don't think they're the quote unquote top 10 team like right now. They're not, by the eye test, they're not a top 10 team.
Okay. Let's see. Marquise says that he agrees with you, Drew, with regard to the Burke County take.
Thank you. I do know they're a good team. They are a very good team. Well coached too, which is what I didn't expect entering this year.
So this is my question, and then we can wrap up soon. But this is my question. Do you when you do your score predictions, does home field advantage is that a factor?
Yeah, it is a factor, but it isn't as much of a factor as it would be in college football. I think college football has the most impact of home field advantage, with high school being second and NFL being third. When it depends on the game. For example, if you're like an 8 or 9 point underdog, but you're playing at home, I don't think it's going to matter that much. But if you're like a 1 or 2 point underdog, it could definitely flip the result. Like, for example, if Carrollton plays at East Coweta, which happens, I'm not picking Coweta, and I didn't, even though they're the home team, because Carrollton's the better team. But if I see something where like Macon County and Clinch County, where I think it was Macon County was hosting Clinch, Macon County pulled off the upset, and I picked that at home. So it depends on the game. You have to take it on a case-by-case basis, and you have to be very careful with it. You can have a home field bias where it's like, yeah, but they're playing at home. But you don't want to ever use that as an explanation in the event of a bigger spread in terms of like a team.
And so this will probably be the last question. Antonio wants to know what your take is on how things will play out in 2A.
Well, in 2A, again, I think it's going to end up coming down to so the thing with Thompson is dang, they're still a very good team. So I don't know, people just don't talk about them because they haven't had any noteworthy games, but they're still beating the crap out of teams like they should be beating the crap out of them. So Thompson, I think it's going to come down to like Thompson, Appling, maybe Fitzgerald and Pierce. Callaway could be making strides, but frankly, I don't know. I would no Northeast. I know. People want to go with Northeast there, but let's think about that for a second and think why would you pick North? What is the one game that you point to and say what is the reason you pick Northeast? Is it because of the Fitzgerald game?
And a quality win, and a quality win
Don't
over
do
Mary
them
Person.
like that. Don't hurt them like that.
No,
A
it's
quality
not bad.
win,
I'm saying,
win over Mary Person and Fitzgerald.
well, they
Yeah.
didn't beat Mary Persons for one. That's the thing. They lost. They did beat Fitzgerald, which is a great thing. But a lot of people are overrating them because of that one win. They beat Carver Columbus, which is even better. That's a great win. But they only won by 7 against a borderline top 10 team. And they really haven't had to face anyone since then because it's a bad region. So that's not knock on them. But I don't think Northeast will be a state championship caliber team. That's my personal opinion. I think Thompson right now is the most state championship ready because they've done this last year and they look about the same this year. I think Appling and Pierce are still going to be very viable candidates despite the loss. It's hard to argue with that. Fitzgerald's like a giant question mark right now. Another one or two like a loss. If they lose a game in region play or something, they're going to tumble from my number 3 spot. But if they can keep winning, Fitzgerald's going to be back as well with their same I will beat the worst team and the best team by the same margin every single time type games. Rockmart is good, probably won't make it all the way because they'll run into a power. And I think same with Northeast at the end of the day.
So do you think Northeast will be playing on Thanksgiving weekend?
Yeah, I think they deserve that. They're a really good team. They're not bad. Just because I'm nitpicking on a team doesn't mean I think they're a bad team. I have to nitpick on teams. That's the way you decide who's number 1 and number 2. I think Northeast deserves to be playing in the quarterfinals and deserves even a semifinal spot. But the thing is, it's hard to say they deserve it when there are so many other viable candidates like Thompson, Appling, and Pierce.
Yeah. 2A is it's very loaded.
It's like cannibalism. Everybody's going to eat each other out, and it's not a great situation there because a lot of teams deserve to be state champions.
Well, you know what, though? I do want to say one thing about Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I have against Thompson is that outside of Burke County, right? Burke County is the only loss they have, 14-12.
Yep, and that's not a bad loss too.
It's not.
Think about it.
But I think me and Yo agreed on this. Is that we need to see Thompson being willing to play as a team and not standing around and watching a highlight reel.
That's true. But see the issue with this is another thing, like on that same vein is, strength of schedule as well, right? You can't just sit around and play bad teams, you have to play good teams. Now, the issue with this is every year, again, there's 1 or 2 teams that you will look at and be like, that team has played 0 competition. There's no way they're going to survive in the playoffs. Well, last year, that team was Thompson because they played 0 ranked teams the entire regular season. And what did they do? They ended up sweeping the slate and winning state. So you have to be careful with this Thompson team. It's easy to look at them and say, they played no competition again. But they've done it before. They can do it again just because they haven't played regular season competition. But once they get to playoffs, they know they've done this before. They know how to play the good teams.
And see, that's why I got asterisk. And see, that's the only thing tonight that I'm gonna disagree with you on is, in my mind, outside of the Burke County game, they have not learned to play team football or learn to play football without.
I kind of want to look into this. What has told you that they are not playing team football?
I.e., the only team they've played so far is Burke County. That's worthy. Outside of that, they haven't played anybody.
But that's the same thing last year, and they won the state championship. That's what I'm talking about. Like
not so fast, my friend. They had a number 26 back there last year. That all they had to do was put the ball in his hand and let everybody on offense stand around and watch him run.
Pretty much.
They cannot do. Who is the player on that team that they can stand around and watch run?
They are using more of a committee this year. So it's Anthony Jeffrey, who has over 500 yards rushing and 9.
And that's what I'm getting at. And that's what I think me and Yo gets is trying to tell Thompson is we need, and we've been saying this all summer, going into the preseason, going into the season, is will Thompson be able to play team football to where, because they don't have Curry anymore. You just can't hand it off and watch a guy run. But you got to learn to play team football, and that's on both sides of the ball.
That's correct.
You kind of sound like you're hating on Thompson, man. For real.
No, I'm not hating on Thompson. I'm not hating on Thompson. The thing is, and this is real talk. If you are a real fan, this is something you understand that Thompson did not do last year. They did not play team football. It was give it to 26. Everybody, 27, 26.
Number 6.
Number 6. I'm sorry. Hand it off to number 6, and all other 10 players on offense just watch them go. They can't do that this year. They got to play team ball. Nobody on their schedule has made them have to play team ball this year, with the exception of Burke County.
I like that vantage point of it. I haven't thought of it that way. They also did lose to Burke County last year, so I'm taking that with a grain of salt, considering how good Burke is also this year. That's the thing. I like the point of like we're not hating on these teams when we nitpick about them. For example, like Cartersville, it's easy to walk away from today and say, "Oh my God, he hates Cartersville." I don't. It's just that when you have these type of results week after week, you're leaving room for somebody to pick on it and just say, "Hey, you beat Cass by 7 in overtime. Why did that happen for a top 5 team in the state?" So it's like you have to question it. Like I'm going to nitpick on the number 1 team in the state, Buford. Okay, like their offense isn't all that right now. So
we know that the offense ain't never been. The offense ain't been that for the last 2 years.
I'm not hating on them.
You're just telling the truth. You have to separate the wheat from the chaff.
My point is Thompson did the exact same thing last year and won the state championship.
No, they did not. I got to disagree with you on that because go back and watch the film from last year. Hand it off to Curry. All 10 players stood around and watched him go.
But number 26 got some carries too because I think he was back there too.
But what I'm saying is Curry was an anomaly last year. You don't have that anomaly anymore. Going into this season, it had to be running back by committee because our biggest discussion point when it came to us discussing Thompson was how do you make up for that production that Thompson is losing in Curry? Thompson doesn't have that one player, so therefore they have to do it player by committee. So therefore it's a group of players making up that production loss by Curry, meaning they got to play team ball now.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. How are they being successful this year then, Thursday?
It's the schedule, bro.
They're running back.
It's the schedule.
But they had the same schedule last year.
No. I'll take this from a different angle. They're using more of a running back by committee this year. They have 4 rushers who are over 200 yards rushing so far, and they've split that touchdowns mark pretty evenly too. They've also been a little bit more successful in the air, not in completion percentage, but in scoring. They're doing a better job setting up, using the run to set up the pass. No.
Did we lose?
They also like throwing a lot of I wouldn't say do you know what a tunnel screen is? So they love throwing a lot of tunnel screens, and that's a way to get your playmakers the ball in space, and they use the defensive line's aggression against the run defense against them.
So they're playing. So basically, what he's getting at is what we were saying they need to do, and that's what it sounds like they're doing. So I'm gonna be honest. I haven't watched Thompson this year yet. I haven't watched any film on Thompson. My only thing is I know what they need to do to be successful. Play team ball. Now, granted, given their schedule for this year, which is on the screen right now, nothing drew my attention to watch any game from Thompson. Let's be real. What on this screen right here is interesting to you to go watch? Nothing moves the needle on this screen right now.
That Laney win by 2 touchdowns, that was kind of concerning to me.
Well, I wouldn't touch Laney. It's like whenever Thompson and Laney get together, everything goes crazy.
Exactly.
Look at last year, it was 15-14. Like that wasn't indicative of the Thompson team that we saw. I think Laney's it's just one of those games where nothing makes sense.
Yeah, being that type of rival, I could understand that score, but that was just concerning to me because after the Burke County loss, and you play Laney like that, I know it's a rival game and all. And if you check my receipts, I have said Thompson will be a factor this year. I didn't count them out, but I still think without Curry's explosiveness, who saved them, and I mean saved them a lot in the playoffs last year, I think those games go a different way. I think a Pierce and an Applin could probably get Thompson this year. So again, I still ride with Pierce as my top in 2A.
That kid, number 26, that running back from Tulsa, he good, y'all.
I don't take nothing away from the kid. Don't get me wrong, but I speak of single A Division One, and where I say it's definitely Swainsboro year this year. PAC, I know everybody's high on them, but when you got a player like DeMello Jones who can just change a game at any time, I mean, it's the same with Curry. Curry was just special. You know, we know Thompson has a good back in 26, but he's not Curry. So that's why I can get a nod to an Applin or Pierce this year over Thompson.
Well, when you talk about
Drew disagrees with you too. Yo.
Oh no, like I was just saying, when you talk about Swainsboro, I'm not so confident that I think Swainsboro is a worse team than last year. I think if they played Prince Avenue right now, Prince Avenue would beat them by more than they did last year. Because the one thing that the Swainsboro team lacks is, well, frankly, offense. This is not the same offensively successful team that it was last year. And even the defense has seemed to bow a little bit. So I'm not so sure this – I mean, yeah, you got DeMello Jones and all, but one person doesn't make a team at this point. So I'm not sure. I think Prince Avenue is I think Prince Avenue would beat Swainsboro.
You're outnumbered again, yo.
You're outnumbered, bro. Let it go.
Always
let it go, bro.
It's not a bad thing to be outnumbered.
No, exactly, because when you take the receipt, Drew, they understand. I don't mind being outnumbered.
Yeah. Oh, well, trust me. I know a thing or two about being outnumbered. Pretty much every single post I make.
Oh yeah, he gets the business on his post on IG.
Yeah, it's 20,000 to 1. Yeah, it's
our first time having you on the show. I kind of jumped on your head about that Perry Peach County, and was
trust me, I
right.
remember. But analysis works.
It does. It does. It's the reason why they do it. Drew, we have to get you back on here to talk college football one day. I would love to hear your take on that. We definitely got to get you back on.
Well, yeah, it is about time for us to wrap this up. So again, Drew, thank you for coming on, joining us. We do look at you as our little brother, and because we take a lot of your content from IG and post it here. As I always say, we give you credit though. But anytime you got some free time and you want to come on, just reach out and we got you.
The door is open always for you, Drew.
Thank you.
Tell them we're in their region.
And like I said, if you do come on Friday night, I'm gonna tell you two things. One, it is uncut, and number two, be ready to say it with your chest.
All right, we'll think about it. We'll think about it. I'm gonna see if I don't have other stuff to do too.
Everybody does say it with their chest except me. I'm even killed. You don't have to worry about me. But everybody else.
Man, put your phone down, Drew. We don't want you to get struck by lightning too.
Hey, big win for Georgia Tech against Miami, man. That was a big win.
Yeah, trust me, we celebrated it big time.
I know you did.
It was worth it.
The Hurricanes are who I thought they were.
I thought they were one of the more complete teams. Before the game, I thought they were one of the more complete teams I've seen in college football. But then again, they also played nobody, so that showed.
Yeah, nobody, including Texas A&M. Let me ask you this question because I've asked everybody. Drew, you think Jimbo gets bought out this year or no?
Maybe not this year. Maybe next year. Too much money. I mean, it's not like they can't afford it, but they'll give them a little bit more. Let that buyout decrease a little bit.
Florida State is a joke.
Okay, we're gonna be quiet.
What does that have to do with shit?
I'm gonna have to disagree with that. I've seen them first person. They are legit.
Thank you, Drew.
Legit in the sense that
what does that have to do with what she had?
But they're at their best. They're very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Drew. All right, Drew. Last question on your way on our way out the door. How do you feel about your North Gwinnett?
That's a good question. They've improved their pass off. So one of the big knocks against them since I was a senior in high school, which was 3 years ago, they lost a lot of that offensive talent, the ability to pass the ball. So they became very run heavy. And I've actually seen this year they've made active strides to become a better passing team. And so I like it. They actually have a really important game on Friday against Peachtree Ridge because a lot of people are talking about Peachtree Ridge and hyping them up and all that. But personally, I hope North Gwinnett wins that one and proves to everybody that Peachtree Ridge isn't, who we all thought they were, because I don't think they are. North Gwinnett has a better passing offense, but I wouldn't expect them to be in state championship contention or top 10 contention. I expect maybe a second round loss, maybe a quarterfinals loss if the bracket falls their way.
All right, man. I appreciate it, and we appreciate it that you came on, gave us, gave us your time, free time today, and like we always say, you got an open invitation to us. Anytime you want to, just reach out. You're more than welcome to come on, because we do feel like you are a part of us, because we like talking to you. We like your content. We like your insight on things, and it actually drives the viewers crazy to get them talking and thinking.
Got to make them think. It's too easy to just sit there and look at records.
Yeah, it is.
We appreciate it, Drew. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you for your insights.
Florida State is a joke.
Thank you.
Thank you, Drew. I listen to you before I listen to that dunderhead.
So before we get off again, I'm gonna plug for the Wizard. Get your picks in by Friday, 6 p.m. He will shut it down on the dot. So get your picks in by then, and make sure you do go on IG. Not only follow FNL Friday Night Football, but also follow Drew at GS
GAHS football. Georgia
High
School football. GAHS football.
There you go. Follow both of us, and you will not be disappointed on the content.
You certainly won't.
All right, Jess.
I'm gonna head up.
All right, Drew. Appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate you, Drew.
All right, have a good one, bro.
Have a good one.
You guys too.
Thanks. So, guys, we hope you enjoyed the show tonight. We want to give we've already said it, but we want to thank Drew again. We hope you enjoyed him. He's an awesome young man, extremely intelligent. We want to thank you, the listeners, because we couldn't do this without you. Thank you for your input. Thank you for listening. Shout out to all my podcast members. Shout out to Dro. We're so glad you're able to get your voice back and you're able to come on and talk with us. We've been missing
Welcome back, bro.
Welcome back.
Appreciate it.
Miss
The gang outside.
That's right.
Unk outside now.
Yeah, I'm outside, y'all.
So with that, y'all make sure that again, you get your pick'ems in by 6. Yours at the top of the mountain. People are coming for his head. Y'all.
They're not.
Thank you, Rashid. He said y'all have the best show, hands down.
Appreciate you, bro.
We appreciate you, and we
tell a friend.
Tell a friend to tell a friend too. We will be back on Friday night around 11:30. It is the Say It With Your Chest edition. Hey, Miss Linda, shout out to you too. So we'll be back on Friday at 11:30. Say it with your chest. I'm gonna be nice and docile like I normally am.
Nah, whatever. It's uncut on Friday night.
And I ain't talking to y'all.
So y'all be safe Friday night. It's supposed to be raining. I don't know if it's supposed to be raining all over the state, but it's supposed to be raining in a lot of different places. So y'all be safe, okay? Y'all got anything else to say, podcast crew?
I do, real quick. 2 things I just want to address. Number 1, Florida State suck. And number 2,
not as good as you do.
Here come the Trojans.
And shout out to my baby Cartier. He turned 1 today. Happy birthday, my sugar. And then that's all I have.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. We didn't have a question of the day, EP peeps.
Oh, we do have a question of the day. We do have that. So wait, there we go. We do have a question of the day. The question of the day is, it's a very simple question, not much to it. We just need insight from the fans. What do you want FNL to talk about in the future? What do the fans want to conversate? The listeners, our loyal listeners, our 60 subscribers want to talk about in the future.
Good question.
They could let us know, throughout the week until either next Monday or next Wednesday. We might as well make it next Wednesday. Give them a whole week to think about it.
Yeah. Let us know what's on your mind. What have we not got to or spoken about that's on your chest? That's on your mind.
This should be very interesting.
I can't lie. I was curious about it myself today. I'm like, what is it that the fans want to talk about that we are not getting to? So,
For the most part, they tell us in the comments anyway. They try to dictate the show.
I know they do be trying to take charge of the show, don't they?
Well, we could talk about how Jeremy's going to be very disappointed Friday.
Yeah, thank you. And that leads into my goodbyes.
Well,
Jeremy, you're a
happy or
worm.
sad. We don't care what he feel. He can be happy or sad. We don't care nothing
Well,
about you, Diamond.
that leads sis, it's Wednesday. That leads into my goodbyes. Jeremy, you're a worm. Everybody should being close to Tallahassee. Thomasville means nothing because after she was 5-0, Thomasville, as you can see, yeah. So quit speaking on us. We don't even acknowledge you. I'm mad I got you blocked and I still see what you say.
Obadiah says he would like Friday Night Lights to go live at the best game.
We would do our best. We can't guarantee because we are scattered throughout the state of Georgia. We will do our best to bring you the best games. We do have some technical issues we have to overcome to do that, but we are trying to bring you the best games. Also, at the same time, you do have to understand that we don't have a license to bring you these games. So therefore, if we do bring them to you, there is a possibility that the live may get deleted and or we may get in trouble.
Yes.
With Mark. And we are not trying to get in trouble with Mark, but we will try to bring you the best games throughout the state of Georgia as we do our travels throughout the football season.
Yeah, we working on that. We're gonna be making adjustments as it goes, but for right now, we just really appreciate everybody. The loyal listeners and the new listeners, we really appreciate y'all supporting us.
Yes, and I mean, if we were to go live, we couldn't use Yo's phone because his phone stays on 15% religious list. So there's that.
Hey, so right now all we got is when we are somewhere, and if you happen to be there, just tell us where you at, and it's a picture to be taken. We're gonna take pictures, post it because we are real people and we do be at these games.
Exactly. And your travel, your hit the road, your phone is always on 15% because Black Beauty charger don't never work.
That's your regular phone. It worked fine for mine.
Hey, you know what, man? Bump what y'all talking about real fast. Again, I want to give a shout out to J-Bo and his people down in Columbus for taking care of the crew when y'all was down there.
Pictures coming soon, y'all. Pictures coming soon.
J-Bo and your people down in Columbus, y'all ever come up to the A, hit me up, bro.
Well,
I ain't got no problem replying back to you. Hit me up, y'all ever come up to the A, I'll show the same hospitality. And or if y'all are in the Peace County, Fort Valley area, make sure you hit the fam up, okay?
Big shout out to J-Bo. J-Bo and his crew. Big shout out.
Sean.
Yeah.
The podcast crew will be at the state championship games that week, so we all will be together, and y'all all will be able to see all of us together, and you will actually see our faces because we will be live at the game.
We will be there.
EP has spoken.
Did you tell you told my boss I was gonna be there?
Now Jeremy, Jeremy, I'm gonna tell you right now, that's cap because when I saw you at the Jones County game, bro, I showed you some love, bro. So that's cap what you just said, man.
And he got $25 for it. Nah,
I'm just tell you, God told me not to come.
Me too.
And the reason why he did that, because if I probably saw you, Jim, it probably would have been good, man. So yeah, I'm glad that I didn't see it. This kind of game.
Obadiah says he wants to meet y'all before the TCC and HOCO games. Well, here's the thing, Obadiah.
It's
I don't know
homecoming, man.
what time that is. It is homecoming at Fort Valley State University. And darling, I am going to be in the thick of that. I will not be in Warner Robins until maybe late that night if I'm at a party or somewhere else.
Yeah, auntie in the streets that night.
I'm in the streets. Okay, so I mean, although I would love to meet y'all, I don't know that will be possible. But
I'm trying to see you after the game, not before the game anyway. So I want to see your faces.
But if you should
you heard what you said.
Shut up.
Leave them people alone.
To end up at the Fort Valley State University tailgate before the game, I will be there, and I would love to meet you, take pictures, and all of that. So,
hey, everybody! I want to go last tonight when we do our closing statement.
Okay, I don't have anything else. So,
nah, I'm good. Go ahead, do what you're gonna do.
We had a good show. I know I came in late, but we still end up having a good show. Love your people. I just want to give say this because it's on my heart. We want to keep the Hooten family, the Highland Shed family, the Frederick, Jolly, and I know I may be forgetting some other, but please keep these families in y'all prayer.
The Hicks family.
Who else?
The Hicks family.
Yeah, the Hicks family.
The Harris family.
Harris family. Keep keep all these families in your prayers. A lot going on. People out here hurting, and that's one of the reasons why I love our show, because we provide entertainment and laughs. Excuse me, y'all, I'm about to cough, but I'm gonna cut this short and just say, keep all these families in prayers, and if y'all going through something, we're gonna keep y'all in prayer too. But we really appreciate y'all. Thank y'all very much.
For sure. I just want to add to him. I do want to say the McGee and the McCrary family down out of Fort Valley. Definitely want to keep them in our prayers.
Definitely McCrary family. I'm sorry, I forgot. Definitely, them too. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I know because those two are personal to me, as I help my brother to get through these troubling times, or these, provide strength for him and his family as they go through these hard times, losses on both the McGee and the McCrary side of the family within a month of each other. Right. So definitely keeping them in my prayers for sure, because that is personal to me as an individual.
That's it.
Amen. And shout out to anybody that's going through anything. We know that, if this show can kind of take you away from whatever you're dealing with for a couple of hours, we are happy to do it. So God bless all of you.
And I'm liable to be looking at 15 to 20 years, so when I see this, it's on.
Hey dog, I got you on your commissary.
Yeah, just keep me some cigarettes on my books, because I'm about to. What?
I
don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Hey, you got one collect call. Let me know what a carton of Newports costs. All right.
That's a bet.
All right, bet on that one.
Send me somebody for some conjugals.
You know what? I got the perfect one in mind. Her name April.
That's right.
That's all.
Okay, guys. Y'all have a good night. Okay.
Yeah, you ain't gonna have one.
You better not.
Peace up, A-Town down. Love y'all, man.
Peace
Love
out.
y'all.